a teen national soccer representative with huge aspirations and dreams, unfortunately crushed by back-to-back knee injuries. Rehab forced you to spend days at the gym where you accidentally fell in love with weights and your body responded well. Fast forward to today, a former IFBB Mr. Australia and world-class coach, Chris Thomas. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Steve. Look at you. Did your homework, brother, didn't you?
Oh, hey? We did do our homework. We did do it. So you gave me a bit of a brief. Let's just say you did help me out a little bit. But one of the topics was people are always looking for the shortcuts and the easy way. Yours doesn't look like it was a shortcut or an easy way. But tell us, what are people looking for?
As in the shortcut or
whatever, just in general. What are they looking for, and why do they fucking believe it's a shortcut?
Well, they're looking for the easy way. Yes. That's it, right? And I think the industry, the fitness industry, is rife with it. But I think society in general is become that now anyway, as a whole. Look, mate, I mean, we were quite primitive, and it doesn't mean that, I'm one of those old school guys that goes, back in the old days, we did this and we were better and all that. It's not that, mate. Things evolve. But the thing is, we just didn't shy away from the fact that there was hard work. We did what we needed to do to get a job done. And we accepted criticism and the things were harder to hear as a caring thing when you hear from someone who was care. Whereas now it's people are mortally wounded when you give them critique, and critique should be welcome. So easy way out. Look, I think that what I said before about what must I do to get the job done, I think now it's what's the least I can do to get it done. What drug can I take to being hungry? What can I do to burn more fat? What can I take to do this? It's always about what can I take. I mean, dude, we were on the treadmill or the stationary bike for an hour, 2 hours a day, and suffering. And so I suppose we can go into this in depth, but that's what I'm talking about, Steve.
Yeah, I think. Look, it's funny because I was listening to this morning. I popped up in social media, and God, what was his name now? Yellow Brick Road guy, Mark Boris. Boris. Yeah, he just popped up and said, "What the hell's going on with Australia? Like, what happened to hard work? Why is also our work half of it going to taxes? Like, what the fuck's going on? We're not rewarded for hard work. No one wants to work hard, and then the government, whatever, is fleecing us. But it's something like you said. I know people that are overweight, and they say to me, I'll take it seriously once I take GLP-1.
Yeah, right.
And I go,
case in point.
So you're going to take it seriously once you take GLP-1. I said, why can't you get your diet serious? Why can't you get your cardio serious? Why? I mean, take it, but you're missing the point here. You're missing that the sweet spot of GLP-1 is when you've done everything else and you just need a little bit more. Right. You just need to tweak it a bit more. Maybe, you know what I mean? There's stubborn fat or there's something, struggling with, but learn where your struggles are and then maybe give that a go. It's like with steroids. I've always mentioned it myself that I never really took steroids till I was 49, right? Because I never competed, but I love the sport. I know all maybe not so much the late 2000s bodybuilders, but now I know them obviously. But I knew Dorian Yates. I knew Pump and Iron, the movie. I loved it. I watched it a million times. I knew all the classic guys, and I loved that their aesthetics. But what I loved about it then was steroids wasn't front and center on my mind. It was watching them lift, watching them camaraderie, watching their power walks on the beach, down, Venice Beach or wherever they're walking. Like, it made you believe that's what you needed to do. You needed to go and sweat in a fucking garage type gym. And then you either, like you said, the treadmill was an advantage, but you still enjoyed those walks, from one suburb to the other, your
There you
7K walk. Now, everybody, like you said, everybody's wanting a shortcut. Isn't like I said, they're missing. And the story about the steroids, was I realized myself that when I went on a cycle, and I'm sure everyone has, whoever hasn't, doesn't really matter. But what I realized was how much I hadn't still prior to it. I could have got my diet even better. I could have got my cardio even better. I could have made sure I locked in. I knew my routines better. But I thought, this will perfect me, like meaning make me train better. And it really wasn't. So that's what I'm saying. People are believing. I think you should take things as long as you have exhausted and you're at that peak where now you need nitrous. Like the car is built, it runs fast, and now you just want it to go a little bit faster.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think you hit the nail on the head, man. I mean, we used to try and nail down 3 principles, obviously. And I mean, it's been called numerous things over the years, the 3 pillars. I used to be primitive and call it the three points of the triangle, right? Yes, and it was basically nutrition, training, and recovery. Yes. That's it. Now, the mentality was as well then, until you nailed every part of those aspects 100%, you wouldn't even consider taking gear, right? Now, the other thing too is if you weren't doing a show, right, you'd never take gear. There was none of this gear just to walk down the street and, exactly. have no legs and train your forearms only, and, so that was a big thing. And the other thing people need to understand too is that, I was around a lot of great bodybuilders when I first started competing, which was late, for my age, but it was around 05, 06. A lot of the bodybuilders, the old school ones back then, and even in the 90s, a lot of them wouldn't take gear all year.
No, they didn't. No, they never did.
And then they get to 16 weeks out. They do 16 weeks into the show, right?
Yeah.
And then they would just stop cold turkey. There was no PCTs. There was no nothing. They just stopped. And they just accept it. It was a part of the cycle, And I mean, now people don't really come off, their TRT, which, look, there's time and a place for TRT. And I agree with that. As long as the correct pathology has been done to ascertain whether the person needs it or not. But they're the things that what you've said is 100% what the issue is that worry about the fundamentals. And as far as these GLP-1s and that mentality that you spoke about, that's the problem with the industry, right? And the problem with society in general, like as a rule, but there's no education to go with it. Okay. So the GLP-1 can be a valuable tool, albeit still a little bit untested, let's just say still for length of time and track record, but I'm not going to go into that. Obviously, the most current one is the most advanced one, obviously working on 3 different receptors versus the original, Ozempics and things like that, which are working on the 1 receptor only. So they're a bit more advanced now. But the thing that concerns me is that there's no education going along with it to encourage people or to teach them how to eat correctly. Like look at whole foods, look at non-processed foods, look at preservatives, look at all these things you shouldn't be eating. And the thing that concerns me most about it is just encouraging people because they can't eat. They're just eating less shit than what they're eating now. They're eating the same poor quality of food. They're just eating less of it. So there's no real evolution as far as that human goes as their education and then moving forward with it. It's just, I'm going to take this temporarily because you can't take it forever. I'm going to take this temporarily so that, I have gastric emptying, slowing of the emptying of the gastric bypass. And I don't feel hungry all the time. And, we're working on an insulin sensitivity to help partition nutrient a little bit more efficiently. So, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
But there's other ways to become insulin sensitive too, like lose some body fat, number 1, right? Stop eating crap, number 2, right? And lower inflammation through allergenic foods. That would be a really good way to start.
Yeah. Hey guys, Steve here. I hope you're enjoying the podcast. I don't want to take up too much more of your time. You know the drill. We'd love you to subscribe. We'd love you to hit the notification bell. Why? It gets us out there, allows us to go and get bigger, better, greater. We've already had some great guests, as you know, but we want to continue this. We want to continue this journey with you. So if you could, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you're notified each time we put up a new podcast. Thank you for allowing me to take you away from the podcast. Let's get back to it. Ever really starting this podcast, which was about, nearly 3 years ago, is when I I mean, I saw it before. It wasn't like I hadn't seen it.
Yes.
But when it was all these calories in,
No.
calories out. And don't get me wrong, I understand it a little bit now, and I like mathematics, and I like studying the maths, and I like all that. But it's literally one. I mean, first, it actually taught me, what calories taught me was how to eat chicken breast better, or how did pork work, and how did lamb work, because 200 grams of any protein meat is not the same.
No.
Lamb has more calories, and so does pork, more, and beef and pork and chicken. So when I realized that, I said, no wonder I'm not losing weight, because I'm just putting 300 grams of every single meat. But then I realized, okay, let's back off when I want to have the lamb. Let's back the lamb mince off. I mean, that taught me a little bit getting in, like I said, 57, like, just trying to manage my weight better. But when it's used for junk food, when it's used for rubbish, and I'm thinking, like, Jesus Christ. And for me, and I think yourself too, I read the labels, but I read what it was made from. Ingredients meant everything to me. Like, the less it had in it, and the more it said to me, oh, this has got 85% tuna in it, and then I pick up another can and it says 55% tuna, I would go, fuck the 55% tuna, I want the 75% tuna. That's got more tuna. What do you think about all this and these calories? And like I said, I mean, we could debate it, but yeah, what's your theory? I know it's
a great topic. I'm really actually pleased you brought this up, because this is something I've been banging on about for a long time. Yeah. So rather than go and knock it first, let's talk about the positive of it, right? Okay, it's taught people how to track. Yeah. Great. Okay. It's probably, in essence, has probably taught people to some degree what macros are, because the average punter out there, they just know the term carb, protein, and fats, but ask them to give them a whole bunch of foods, general population, ask them to categorize it, they can't do it. So that's a positive. Energy in versus energy out. That's a positive too, because you're understanding the balance of, deficit and surplus. Yep. Okay, so there's the positives. Now, the negatives of this are, and I've been pretty vocal on this sort of stuff, is to call a food, right, evenly is absolutely incorrect. Okay. To say to someone that they can eat whatever they want, provided it fits these series of numbers, right, is absolutely just terrible, right? It's bad advice. And it's, let's go, okay, so let's say, Steve, your maintenance calories, right? Let's say, because you can't even measure it, but you can be ballpark. So let's say yours are 2,500, just for the roundness of the conversation, something easy, right? Let's say you're 2,500. So you're building your whole thing around, you want to get a little bit leaner, so you're going to go into a bit of a deficit, right? Now, if you go and eat shit food and you inflame your system, which is what these people are doing, right? Inflame the system, high inflammation, elevated cortisol, cascading effect into resistance to insulin, right? So there's a 3-part series of things that you need to manage to get to that end result to make that better. Now, the energy in versus energy out falls apart. They win the argument based on the energy versus energy out, because that's what the formula is. Yeah. But if you're running an inflamed system and it's not functioning optimally, your maintenance might be down to 2,200, right? Or just eating shit food. And these are just downgrades that occur when you put the system under duress. And then all of a sudden now there's an inaccuracy with your energy in versus energy out. So I think it would be remiss to say that the whole argument hinges on that, although the greater equation is that, and that's why they're getting this crap across the line. They need to educate. It was a great business model, right? The guy that made it was a great business model, and it's allowed.
It's for junk food, man. It's for the word. We've taken out the word. Look, we've taken out the word junk food. 1 minute.
Yeah.
With junk food and fattening. We've taken that word out. There's no more, because junk food was without, look, we'd say, do you want to go to Macca's and get some junk food? That's how we spoke. Yeah. And that's fattening. What you're eating is fattening. Yeah. Now they've just, and this has been probably a TGA, Food Administration. It's probably been one of the biggest fucking ploys to bring people in, but go ahead.
No, that's, mate, I agree. So it's a great business plan. Yeah. And I think that, when you venture on from that, what it's done, it's allowed a lot of coaches to be lazy, in my opinion. Like, I know for a fact that you know, I know how I do my stuff. Now, I'm not saying that I do my stuff the best. I do it with integrity, and I deliver what I think is the best possible product, right? Along with what I know. But certainly if I was paying for coaching and someone said to me, hey, 250, 45, go, here's Fitness Pal, right? I'm just looking at them going, dude, anyone can fucking do that, right?
Yes.
You know, like seriously, you know, like I mean,
GPT can do it too now, mate. What are you talking about?
You know, there's so many ways to put macros together, 40, 40, 20s, you know, there's all sorts of different splits, you know, and they've all got different, people assimilate nutrients in a different way. Some people are more resistant to insulin, as we said. Some people don't process carbohydrates or manage glycogen as well as other people. Other people need a higher fat content than other people, especially females, especially hormonally for proper hormone assimilation. They can't go below realistically a certain amount of fat intake per day. And that's the first thing that goes out the window because it's the most calorie dense option. And these are all the things that sort of I have a gripe with because ultimately it is the fitness industry. And a lot of these things need to be backed up with some sort of education that is, what's the right word? Not negligent.
Yeah, because it's funny, you know, like you could look at like I said, you could look at a burger. Not that I don't even know what the calories are. I don't even eat McDonald's anyway. But and that's just because I don't know. Because I just know what nutrients looks like, and I know it's very easy to see it in front of you. We all know what fat, carbohydrates, and proteins look like. They're very clear. It's very clear in front of you. You can't, you can't get it wrong. You can't get it wrong. But I just know, like, when I look at when they say, a burger at Macca's is 700 calories, I just go to myself, fuck, that's 3 meals for me. That's literally 3 beautiful meals, 3 chicken and rice or chicken and sweet potato meal. Like, I've just got to myself, what? This is 3. That's how I don't stay hungry, because I can have 5 meals a day and just keep the motor running, run nicely. Not because that's what the thing is. They fall to getting hungry all the time. I don't want to be hungry. I keep eating. You know what I mean? And that's what does my head in, because I go to myself, fuck. And that's only 895 calories. And I go, fuck, that's 3 meals for me. What are you talking about?
Yeah, mate. The most common thing I get asked is people like all the time, don't you get sick of doing what you do? I'm going, dude, you know what? I mean, I can sit there and give you a rundown at the moment of what I eat. You know, like if I eat I fillet an avocado for breakfast along with some green veggies and some sauerkraut and things like that. Okay, it doesn't get any better. And yet someone wants to turn around, get this, and they would rather eat cocoa bombs, right? Right? Cocoa bombs. Okay, now, hidden behind the guise of the gluten-free. Great, they are. They might be. They could be to some degree, right? The problem is this whole cereal craze. Every bodybuilder, well, not every, but a lot of them, they just stock their shelves up with just cereal. Oh, this is the easy way to get. Sure it is. Interesting fact though, man. If you look at the back of the panel, which we both like reading the back of the panels, right?
I've read the panel.
So the back of the panel will say carbohydrates. Okay, it will say total and it will say sugar, right? Yeah. So it might go, right, average cereal is going to be about 75%. So it's going to have about 75 grams, somewhere 70 to 80 grams, right? There you go. So it might say 10 grams sugar, right? So then it leaves you open that, you've basically got, 65, 70 grams of what people perceive to be good carbohydrates. But what they don't realize that people don't need to list legally. They don't need to list what that is. The problem with the cereal is that the majority of that is cornstarch.
100%.
Right? The absolute fucking worst thing you could eat.
The worst.
Right? And this is another example of playing with the numbers, right? Instead of being educated. Like, I won't eat cereal, man. Like, straight up, you can grab your cereal and you can shovel it exactly where you want to put it, right? It's just, it tastes great. Yes, it does. But you know what, man? I found the tastefulness in what people call bland. And it's not bland, because the more you do it, the more you start to appreciate different flavor. And I do it standing on my head, man. Like, I have Monday to Friday, I eat 5 meals a day, and every single one of them. And the rule is as well is that I must prepare and cook every one of them, right? That's my own rule, right? And then pizza on Friday night and a couple of things on the weekend. But I do, that's what I do. And mate, I do it standing on my head. I wouldn't eat any other way. So like what you said, if I had a choice of having a McDonald's burger, right, or having, you know, my chicken, turmeric chicken rice and bits and pieces and nuts and stuff and stir fry that I make, and then my I thought for breakfast, then why would I eat a stupid double cheeseburger? Come on.
And the funniest thing is, like, you know, this is what this is my realization is hearing like how they've tried to motivate our sport. Our sport is so fucking boring. And if you can do boring good, you're going to win in this. Meaning you turn up to the gym unmotivated, because you get motivated when you're done. Right. Who walks in going, I got a leg session today, I can't wait. Can't wait to hit the legs hard. So, but the thing is, you go in, sometimes you've had the worst day. Relationships are fucked. Work is fucked. Money's fucked. Whatever's fucked. You go in there and even you think to yourself, I don't know if I can lift. And sometimes you surprise yourself, you lift. And sometimes you think, I'm going to do a quick one and get the hell out. But then you don't, because you go, nah, my discipline. The only time you feel good is when you're walking out of that gym. That is the biggest feel good moment. So, and I remember when I used to train early in the mornings, like I used to get up at 4. And I used to hate it. And I said, there was two things I kind of said to myself is, I hate 4 o'clock, or am I going to hate 8 o'clock, knowing 4 hours ago I was at the gym and at 8 o'clock I'm having a good breakfast, but instead I'm getting out of bed. So I knew which pain was worse. And it was the 8 a.m. pain of knowing 4 hours ago I would have, and this time right now I would have had it done. So I pick which is the lesser pain, but it's still pain. It's still pain. And think about it. Let's just look at our food. Like you said, deliciously bland. Deliciously bland food, right? So it's bland, it's bland, it's bland. But I tell people this, something very similar, but this is what I say to them. Monday to Friday, you're in charge. Meaning it's your breakfast, it's your lunch time. Dinner's going to challenge you if you're married, because you're not going to fucking complain to your wife what she cooked for you, to fucking eat it. But if you don't get your breakfast and lunch right on your watch, you're fucked. So in other words, if you know your wife's making lasagna for dinner on an evening night, I'm not going to go home and say to my wife, oh, fuck, you got lasagna. Your marriage is over. You accept someone's cooking for you, firstly. Be grateful someone's cooking for you. I'd love someone to cook for me. Trust me, I'll eat it. But I know that I can prepare my meals through the day because I work, and no one pushes me to eat. Because Monday to Friday, whatever it is, you're a tradie, you're working in an office, whatever you do, you do. And like I said, and if because I live alone, I can do my nights any way I want. But if you don't get Monday to Friday right, you're fucked on the weekend. Because if I go to a mate's barbecue and he's got lamb shanks, lamb cutlets going, and the wife's made a fucking potato cream thing, mate, I'm not going to sit there and go, guys, I've got to bring my Tupperware. Because I didn't. It's kind of like you can get away with it. And the last thing, like you said, pizza. I'm not going to sit there and measure fucking 2 slices. I just go, give me the whole thing.
Bro, I just eat 2 of them straight up. That's what I just eat 2.
Yeah, or I just want to have a good time because because I'm not going to have 1 block of chocolate. Like, just grab 2 blocks of that. Don't. Unfortunately, either I have it or I don't have it at all. I get 2 choices.
Steve, whenever I eat something, I'm eating the whole thing.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
That's how it works, right? If I open a block of chocolate, I'm eating all of it, right? If I open a sleeve of Oreos, I'm eating all of them, right? I don't put half of them back in the cupboard. That would annoy me, right?
Fucking, I didn't annoy me. And it makes me think that I've got to go back to it. Let's get it done and dusted.
Exactly. Get it over with and move on, right?
Move on, 100%. And maybe go an extra walk or 2, whatever. Like, trust me, and I've also learned you've got to learn some mantras. But I think that... I think I had to learn that this bodybuilding industry is become one big fucking anxiety. Like, they don't make me feel good. I don't do the bicep curls correct. And I keep wondering, how do they do it correctly? Like, have I got it wrong all this time? I don't eat correctly. I don't do nothing correctly. And I think to myself, fuck, like it was it was kind of more mysterious wondering what Sean Ray did, but he didn't tell me we did everything wrong. I just wanted to watch his videos or watch Dorian or watch the back in a pump and what that, and half of their principles are swings. They're swinging like crazy. They're carrying on, and I'm like, oh, maybe I can't swing because this guy told me that doesn't have arms or calves that I shouldn't swing. And I'm just saying, this industry's become one big fucking anxiety.
Well, the issue is, man, is that look, and obviously we're on the platform right now, so but internet and social media and stuff has given a bunch of idiots a platform to make a fool of themselves. That's what I've said all along, right? And once again, you got people out there offering instruction that have got no right to offer instruction. Okay, and this is the problem with the industry, with all. There's parts of it that are really good, but there's people out there, like, for example, there's coaches out there that have done it for years, got experience, have competed, all this sort of stuff. Then you've got, a girl that's just done her first show as a bucket list thing, and a dude that wants to do men's physique as his first bucket list thing, right? I need to use both sexes because I'm not sexist.
That's okay, yeah, go.
And at the end of it, they do this one show, they look, God bless them, they've done well for themselves. But on the scheme of life in regards to competing in the show level, they're just average at best, right? There's people walking around the beach that are better, right? And that's cool, right? Good on you for doing that. But then all of a sudden, I'm taking on clients now. Based on what? That you can use FitnessPal,
exactly,
right?
I know, man.
So that's a big problem, So now you've got people, as I said, offering instruction that shouldn't be. I think a lot of it is overthought. Now, don't get me wrong, we do have a lot more information now. Some of that is a good thing, but there's a lot of stuff out there that we should be taking with a grain of salt. Like, what you said about not doing bicep curls correctly. Yeah, that's fine. I agree. There's best ways to do all those movements.
Yeah.
But also we have to remember, posturally and mechanically, every human is different, right? That's why humans have different strengths and body parts, right?
Yeah.
Posturally. If someone, like, without getting too in depth with this stuff, you always wonder, you got the people that have got the no bum, right? So it looks like their back just goes straight down to their hamstrings. Yeah. That's a posterior pelvic tilt, okay? Now, until they work on their posture and get their pelvis back into a neutral position, right, they're never going to grow glutes in a normal multiple joint movement, because it's like putting their heels up on a set of chocks. It becomes a quad dominant movement, right? So that's why they don't grow the posterior. Whereas the ones that have got the big backside can't squat to the ground because their glutes get in the road and they've got this anterior tilt. So they're not as quad dominant, but they're very posterior dominant. So people need to understand that we've got postural differences, we've got mechanical differences, and some person can pick up a bar and do bicep curls and swing the things round. But mechanically, he's hitting it 100% because of the way he's built. Yeah. Then you got some other bloke who, he's got to concentrate on pulling his shoulders back, getting his elbows back, curling upwards and doing all this sort of stuff. And dude, once you start to overthink stuff, you lose the connection with it, right? Yeah. Because you're mechanically going, oh, I need to be here when I do this. I need to be here when I do this. And I need to be thinking this when I do this. Dude, all these things, like, I'm not saying they're not valid, but they definitely leads to what you said about the anxiety part of it. I mean, I've always just freestyled it, man. I've followed methods and I've followed training procedure. I track and I obviously try to progress, and I obviously plan my programming and clients' programming in a methodical way. But I certainly don't sit there and go, hey, listen, when you do this curl, you have to be, 3 degrees leaning forward with your elbows, 2 degrees back and your shoulders in a retracted position and this and that. I mean, dude, no one's going to do that.
No. I think, like I said, I'm training a guy, not that he's not paying me. It's a mate. He wants to lose some weight, and he just came along. And I thought, this will be a good, I actually offered to help him. And I wanted to know what I know. And I realized, like I said, what I'm saying is I know a lot, meaning I can watch him and I could just say, stop shrugging your shoulders, drop your shoulders down. And then I can put my finger and say, this is where you've got to be feeling it. And then I could say, can you can you feel it? Have you got the movement? And once he has, then I go, all right, I'm going to go do this over here. Find me over here. So like, it's kind of like you got to teach them where, firstly, you know, to feel it or find it, you know, hit it, like kind of start penetrating that area. But yeah, a bit of posture. But at the same time, like I said, you know, there's, even right now, like I said, to go progressive, overload on him, whatever you're doing, there's always a time and a place. But like I said, you got to remember these people are at the beginning.
Correct.
So much at the beginning, and you could just spook them. Like for my mate, I just think I'll just see if this guy can turn up firstly. Fuck telling him exactly how to train. I'm wasting my time if he's not going to turn up tomorrow. You know what I'm trying to say? So I just go, you know, yeah, tomorrow 5 o'clock. He comes to trains with me. I show him the principles, but I still thought we'll see what he does for the next 4 weeks. You know, like see if he's enjoying it rather than scaring the fuck out of this guy, you know, or taking away all these vices. You know what I'm trying to say? Like he smokes. As soon as we finish, I go, light up, mate. Let's go. We're going outside. Go light up a cigarette. Because I think to myself, I tell him to cut this out, cut that out, cut this out. The only thing I got, like I said, trying to fix him is, I think at the moment is, besides his form, is his food as well. Just making sure his food's right. You know what I mean?
I mean, just, you know, I think the thing people don't look at enough, just say to them straight. Can you hunt it? Can you chase it? Can you kill it? Can you grow it? Right? There you go. They answer those questions, right? 100%. Well, I've never seen a Pepsi Max tree and I've never seen a cereal tree, right? So there we go, you know. But what you're saying about your friend, interesting point. A lot of people get too caught up in being real technical with these guys in the beginning. They just get to the gym for the first time and they got them doing reverse behind the back, you know, forearm curls. Dude, the dude's never been in the gym before. Teach him how to squat. Teach him how to shoulder press. Teach him how to deadlift or whatever if he's not got back issues. This is obviously all depending on, you know, medical clearance and stuff, right? Yes. And teach him how to do multiple joint movements and just learn how to be a strong, productive human first, right? We used to always say this thing back in the day, mate. We always used to say, there was 2 sayings we used to use. Build the house before you interior decorate, or bake the cake before you ice it. Now, I think that those things are self-explanatory. You know, now you've got these people doing these reverse 1.5 with the triple pike, you know, curls, instead of just going in there and just, you know what, concentrate on increasing your strength, concentrate on becoming a bigger human, concentrate on getting your food correct, and then worry about your stuff later on. Because they've got some bloke who's got, you know, a pro badge, right, right, in their Instagram handle, going, oh, I find these really hit the mark. Well, let's go into that too. I mean, you know, it is 100, probably 1,000 times easier to be a pro nowadays than what it was back in the day. I mean, back then you had one pro qualifier. It was supposed to be every year, but it never was. It was every couple of years. And I mean, now, you know, I mean, you know, and I'm not talking, this is all federations. It's not specific, you know.
It's all, they're all federations. They're all trying to get subscription, mate. It's all about subscription.
Well, that's a thing, you know, and it's you know, you've got people walking around being pros that just, you know, really are just not pros, and God bless them that they want to show. Congratulations on that. But you know, someone said to me in 14, I didn't do a 212 pro qualifier in 2014 because I had athletes. It was the first year I took a lot of athletes into a show called FitX, which afterwards became the Arnold Classic. And I didn't do the show, and I was doing the show a week later in Perth, which was the Omara Classic World Qualifier. And anyhow, after the show, someone came up to me and they said, and it was like a promoter, and sort of said to me, I didn't realize you're that good. And I said, yeah, I'm okay. Like, I'm just one of those people that's just stubborn, basically, just doesn't take no for an answer, you know. And he goes, should have done the pro qualifier last week. And I said, I'm no pro. He goes, well, you had a chance. And I'm just like, whether I had a chance or not, you know, I'm not a pro, you know what I mean? And I'm never going to be a pro. And I think that awareness, and once again, it sounds like I'm patting myself on the back. It's not. I just think that that's another thing that's missing now is the awareness. I mean, people want that tag so much, they don't realize that once they get it, you can never compete as an amateur ever again, right? And if you go overseas, it's going to cost you 20, 25 grand to go overseas to do a show. And you are going to get your ass handed to you every single time, right?
Every time.
Right? Where's the fun in that?
The only time it dawned on me what you're talking about was listening to the Sam Ioannidis, the Terry Mitsos, but I mentioned two guys, but also the guy from Western Australia. What's his name? I'll get the name. I apologize that it's on the tip of my tongue and I can't get it out. Aussie guy. He's a fiery. He runs the Fireys over there.
Mate, Justin Wessels.
Justin Wessels, yeah, Justin Wessels.
Sorry, Justin.
Yeah, sorry, Justin. Of course, sorry, Justin. Just so many people knew that they needed to exhaust the amateur league. And they said they had such notoriety that they had great sponsors as an amateur. They made money as an amateur. And sometimes they didn't take the card for a pro card yet because they knew they had to up the gear, up the effort, and fucking go and challenge some guys that they looked at and said, these guys are monsters. Like, I don't know what it's going to take my body to get there. Like, they just know there's certain levels you're going to go. The other thing they did was some of them wanted a Mr. before their name, like Mr. Australia, Mr. Universe, a Mr. World, a Mr. Some people will never get that once sorry to say it, once you become an IFBB pro, you're not going to become a Mr. Universe or like some of the stuff you have to go to NABA, sometimes you have to go here, whatever federation it is. And that's the thing. These guys, they were very smart in what they did. And they also said, like what you said, which I didn't know, that notoriety is to be, firstly, top 3, top 6, not be number 18th, number 22nd. Not, you know what I mean? Once these guys get pro cards, which they do, where they're going to compete? There's no more competitions. And I guarantee you, how old are you, Tom? Chris. Sorry, Thomas.
We just that conversation about Thomas and the origination of that.
I was going to say Thoma. That's what I was going to call you.
Yeah, we should have said that.
I should have.
Mate, I'm in my early 50s.
All right, so you're early 50s. What I'm trying to say to you is, I've seen some great bodybuilders when I was in my 20s. Like they dwarfed me.
Yeah.
Well, today I dwarf them.
Yeah.
What I mean is, bodybuilding to keep going every decade. I'm not trying to say I dwarfed it because I was meant to. I'm not trying to say stay in the game of the food, the turning up, not relying on steroids alone or not relying on all the supplementation, and to also have a discipline and go through life's struggles of probably relationship breakups, financial problems, business, but whatever it is, to keep that gym pumping that iron. Like I said, just because they got a pro in their early 20s, I don't know where they're going to be or what's the status. Because, like I said to you, I think if you look at a lot of people of the era that are running businesses accordingly in this game, most of them go by their name. Their name says it all, not the fact that they have to put a pro status at the end of it. And again, we're not talking about IFBB Pro because the naturals now and everybody, and it's a subscription to pay something every year and for them not to leave your subscription model. But what are you offering them? There's no pro show after that. So what are you offering them?
Yeah, look, as I said to you before, I think there needs to be a little bit more awareness. Look, I think there's blame on both sides for that. I think that I'm not saying it's not prestigious to win a pro card. It is, right?
And business is business.
And that too, but as I say, I remember guys winning pro cards in the 2000s and stuff, right? And, like now, you've got a pro card at the beginning of the year, pro card at the end of the year, every show in between, with some federations, basically you just got to win a show and you get a pro card. Whereas, once upon a time, like, when we were competing, we used to have the nationals and all the purists, would say that, and the nationals were always in October. And then they brought this, I'm talking IFBB now anyway. And because I've always competed IFBB, so that's what I know about, right? And then they brought in the season A show originally, which was just called the Australasian show. Yeah. But all the purists believed that the October show was the true Mr. Australia. It was mate, you could go and win that show, and there was no pro card on offer.
I love that, Bo. Imagine we did.
There was none. You had to turn around and either do a specific pro qualifier at some point in time, or apply for the pro card based on your results and an application, right? Which I still think people should win a show to do a pro card, because I think that's the best way. But as I said, look, do this anyway. If you go to a show, right, and if you watch a show, right, and this is all federations again. I want to keep, saying that.
Yeah, of course. You
get a pro, win a pro card, right? Find how long it takes them for their internet handle to change. They won't even ring their mum when they get off stage. They'll go and put pro after their handle, right, before they ring their mum, right? Like, seriously, So I think that's what social media has created, the beast. There's a lot of positives to come out of it as well, but it's also created a lot of pressure too, because you've got a lot of the world's best athletes behind a camera lens that come show day, they either don't do the show or they're nowhere to be found, because on show day you haven't got the sun at the right time of the sky, and you haven't got the wind blowing from the right direction, you haven't got the right mirror in your bathroom and the right amount of your curtain open to get that shot. You're just standing there under a bunch of halogen lights in front of 2,000 people, right? In a pair of undies that we would never wear at any other point in our life, right?
Yeah. Keep going. I want to check something, because I want to, before I quote it, keep going. Yeah.
And a dent, in your skin, from the back of the auditorium will look like the size of a tennis ball. So you knew you had to be in shape. And you know what? When you're on stage, you're not in shape. It's a lonely fucking place, man. When you're standing there, and you're not in shape.
Yeah.
There's nowhere to hide. You can't go and stand behind the bloke beside you and go, you know what? I don't want this anymore. So we made sure we were, But
so the internet's bloody slow. I think it's once again, I think it's.
Did I trigger something there, bro?
No. I wanted to look at. I think it's Matt O'Reilly. Not because I want to bring him up. I remember once saying to him, "Hey, Matt, how come you don't have pro at the end of your handle?" And he goes, "And you got king bodies." He goes, "Because king bodies is more important to me than being a pro." And I thought, how smart is that? Like, his business is so important to him. What I'm trying to say? It brings him the true income. But I just wanted to make sure, in case he's made it pro now.
Oh, yeah, fair enough. Doesn't matter, man. Anyway, at least the fact that he said that.
No, it was, because I kind of found it odd, because, look, like I said to you, you know what I liked that you mentioned just now? I'm just getting all my internet connections off because I don't want my phone to ring. The thing is, I would, it's like Group A racing. You could win all these tournaments, but it became down to Bathurst. The Bathurst was like, and I think when you said, did you say October was the time, or August, whatever it was?
October,
I reckon just knowing that's when you win the 2026 Mr. Australia. Like, that's the one.
That means everything, man.
That would mean, even if it's not a pro, like, you just turned up to win a title of a Mr. I just think, wow, imagine the lineup on stage for that, and the conditioning and everyone, the Grand Prix for that moment.
Amazing.
It would be amazing, wouldn't it? Really
amazing, man.
I don't know why we don't do that. I don't know why we don't have. All right, have all your shows, whatever it is, because that's what they did. Even with Olympia, they had shows, but just to have that one, and it can be, like I said, the IFBB, whoever, but just to have that 1 year show that said, this is the Mr. Australia, Miss Australia too, whatever it is, overall, have both. Oh, what a show that would be! I mean,
right? And look, in essence, they are actually structurally doing these shows. But how can you have a Mr. Australia when you got shows at each end of the year and throughout the year? Because all federations got multiple shows. I don't know, mate. Like, it just, I'm sentimental, and obviously, you remember shit, and you remember feelings and what it felt like of the past. But at the same time, mate, things evolve and move too, you know what I mean? And business is business, and a lot of the time business doesn't allow for these things. Yeah, mate, I think people get too caught up in the pro thing. I think people need to ask themselves a question: am I actually a pro? Will I actually be a pro? Am I doing it for business only so I can have that tag? If that's the case, hats off to you. You know, unbelievable. That's admit it though, right? And mate, that mate, you know, okay. So I did my first show. Here's one for you. This is interesting. I did my first show. I was 35, right?
Okay.
So the other thing too is people don't explore their genetic potential. The young guys, and then they obviously start using gear before they actually, you know, reach genetic potential, which I think is another thing that's not really cool. But I trained at 35. I did the first show at 35, and I was natty the whole time. And now this isn't a big, you know, I'm natty and fucking lying about it. I was natty, right?
All right. Was that in 2006?
2006.
Novice, you won that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And no, I wasn't natty for the show. I want to correct that.
No, that's okay.
Yeah.
But you were natty.
But I was natty the whole time, right?
Yeah. Okay.
And I was sitting there, and this is the difference with me, okay, is that I trained for the love of training, right? And I don't know if I put that in that paper there, but like after I sort of started growing and stuff, I was fascinated by wrestling, man, right?
Yeah, you wanted to be like the British Bulldogs and Ricky Steamboat.
Yeah. Ricky Steamboat had the best physique.
All right, before you, so what I'm getting at is, because you wanted to be the wrestler bodies, did you know? Because we're going to tell people about your soccer, we're going to tell people about your golf, so we're going to get to that point. But did you know bodybuilders, or you just didn't know bodybuilders? You just knew. That's what I mean.
Man, listen, my old man was your typical wog, okay? Rest his soul, beautiful human being, okay?
Yeah.
He made me my gym set, right? Because the dude could do anything, mate. Like he was a welder, you know, metal boiler maker. He did everything, right? So I had one barbell, right? And I used to go out in the yard, didn't know anything. I used to just sit there and just do clean and jerks. I used to imitate weightlifters, right? Then when I couldn't lift, I didn't have enough weight. I told him, I said, I need some more weights, man. So anyway, about a couple of weeks later, the guy comes home, Dad, right? And he's machined these two massive discs, right? Polished them up, machined them, put a hole in, and goes, there goes your weights. And I just said to him, I said, how much do they weigh? He goes, who cares? Just lift them. That's what he said.
That's right. It's
right. And I went, yeah, all right, no worries. So the bottom line was I was fascinated by these wrestlers. I wanted to look like them, right? So I trained my whole life and I loved training, right? Period. I swear to God, dude, I was getting trained by a trainer in Fortitude Valley in Brisbane, right? And I was about 35, as I said, right? 34, 35. And I used to go to him, not because he just knew, he knew a lot, but he was one of those rare people who could yell at me without me being offended, right? Like he used to motivate me, man. So I used to go in there a couple of times a week and the guy used to punish me, right? And now I went to a show that year and it was the middle of the year and it was the NABBA Southern Hemispheres, which was just an outrageous show back then, like in the early 2000s, just an amazing show. And I came back and I said to him, I said, I went to a show on the weekend. And he's like, right. And I said, what do you think? I said, it was pretty cool, you know? And I was looking at him going, so what do you reckon? Do you reckon like I could do one of those? And he goes to me, you were good enough 5 years ago to do one. And I'm like, what do you mean? He goes, I never thought you wanted to. I said, well, I didn't. And that's it. So there's the difference in the mindset is that I never competed to have photos taken. Not that we even had photos back then anyway, because everything was on film. There's no digital shit. And he goes, well, there's an IFBB show in 22 weeks. And I said, you guys, you interested? And I said, let's do it. So that was it, man. And
how many weeks?
22 weeks.
22 weeks, yeah.
Yeah. And I took a total of 265 milligrams combined of gear, right? Yeah. And did the show, and then I won the novice show. And then I went, maybe I might be all right at this. And that's how it started, man. So very, very different mentality, dude. I love training, you know, and I loved that side of it. So the training came first and the competing kind of was a byproduct of it, you know. And then obviously once I realized that I could be okay at it, then it sort of became a focus. Whereas people now are picking up a weight. I want to do a show at the end here. Based on what? Based on what? What you did? You've done 3 bicep curls.
Hey guys, Nutrition Warehouse, your .1 store for all your supplement needs. Visit in-store here in Australia or New Zealand, or go to nutritionwarehouse.com.au, or for our New Zealanders, go to nutritionwarehouse.co.nz, shop away, and at checkout, why not use discount code MTP15 to get 15% off all your orders. like, I just, I guess, I think that's why you either love bodybuilding or you're just in it for the moment. It's momentarily, like, because like you said, you competed at, 35. Like for me, I never wanted to compete, but I wanted to have a competitor's body. There was no denying it. I had and I had mates that went on stage and they would get down to what their body, and I'd get down to that body fat level just because summer was coming. And then I had my bulk period, but it wasn't like literally, even now, I mean, I'm tweaking my body to see, I'm 57. I'm kind of gauging, can I do 2026 summer, December the 1st? How many weeks out are we from that? All right, let's start tying. Like, I'm not even talking stage. I'm talking December the 1st, summertime, because I'm just thinking, I wonder if I could bring my body fat level down. And it's not easy to do. Let's just say it's not like you can miss the mark. But like I said to you, the stage never made me want, like, I wanted what they had, but I knew you're allowed to have it off stage as well.
Right.
You know what I'm trying to say? Many people don't realize that you can have that off stage. But the one thing I knew was, look, like some of them, I didn't need to go the extreme, like you said. People are on cycles now and they're not even on stage, and you're wondering why would you be on a cycle? And like, I mean, and I think the one thing, Chris, that I wanted to go back with everyone wanting it easy or quick. And you know what? To be honest, I was talking to Chris yesterday in a meeting, and I was thinking to myself, everyone is a slow motherfucker, and I'll tell you why. We were quick. Me and you were quick. If you wanted to know something, you had to get in the car and drive to it.
Yeah.
And you went and you delivered on it.
Correct.
But now you can send a message to someone, but you go, I won't send it now. I'll send it later. Or you don't even send it. You got it there in front of you. Yeah. And you start thinking, what's he going to think? What time is it of the day? Should I do it now? But you knew if you wanted to see a property to buy, let's say, you just got in the car and you drove there, even if the real estate agent wasn't there. You had a look at it. You drove around the suburb, and then you make a phone call, you make an appointment, you turn up. You were quick. Now you just go, mate, send me. What's the rent? Send me this. And then you sit on it like a fat ass doing nothing. You're not even quick. I said to Chris, I get the shits. I said, fuck, we said we're going to do this without Chris. He's okay with that. But I'll say, we said we're going to do it. When the fuck are we going to do it? Like, let's just do it and know it doesn't work. Let's just do it knowing it didn't work. Not that it works. And I think, like I said, they want it quick, but everyone, trust me, is fucking slow. We've slowed down with all this technology, with all the things at our fingertips. I'm telling you, everyone is slow. To say to someone, hey man, can you get me, can you find out if you can get me that approved? It's like 5 days later and you go, fuck, we could get it done in a day because we've got the technology, but you got to sit on this guy for 5 days and then remind him, hey man, listen man, I'm waiting for this approval. Can we get it happening? It's like everyone, like I said, everything was quicker, and you had, trust me, your diary for Monday was Monday tasks. Now it's like, I'll just move it to Thursday. I just move it to next week. Like I said, it's all slow.
People just don't do that. I've got to-do lists every day. I've got to go through at the end of the day. Yeah. And if they're not all ticked off, there's got to be an excuse why. Yeah, a reason why, not an excuse. There's got to be a reason why. And the day is not successful if they're not all ticked off, right? Yeah. And but society's soft now, man. That's what that is. It's like there's softness. There's no urgency. It's like, it filters down through everything. People help, how hard they work. We have pride, and if someone asks you to do something, you do it with your best of your ability. Yeah. And now it's almost like with everything you ask people to do, what they do. It's like they're doing you a favor by doing it, right?
Yeah.
Like, cut it out, man. Like, I used to employ people, man, you know, when I had the barbershop, and in the early days, it was amazing. You had people ringing up and going, hey, listen, I put my name down for that job, that apprenticeship, you know, just wondering if you looked at it, you know, I'm keen, I won't let you down, just, you know, pick me, you know?
Yeah.
And that's what it was like. Now it's like, you know, well, not now, I don't know, I sold the shop years ago, but like, it's like by the end of it, it was like they were doing you a favor just by showing up. And they would never show up on time, they'd show up late, and then next thing you know, someone in the family died and they couldn't come to work for a week, and you know, just lie after lie after lie, you know, man. So
no, it's oh, look, we could go on, but like I said, I want to go to this question only because I'm sure people would, you know, because I'm not saying that I've seen you being on podcasts, you're on my podcast, and I really appreciate it, and you do your own podcast, but I think we all know and without any like disrespecting what we're talking about, but with Jimmy's your, you know, and I think people are going to be sitting here on the side listening to this podcast going, I wonder if they're going to talk about Jimmy, you know, what about Jimmy, you know, like, and I think we should place it because, and being that Jimmy was on my podcast, and let me tell you, when I saw him, he was the biggest cunt. Let me tell you, when he was huge. I looked at him, I go, fuck, you're the biggest guy we've ever had, man. He was huge, you know, and honestly, at one stage, he looked scary, but meeting him in person, you know, he's not scary. No, but he looked scary. I said, this guy, man, he fucking must be the head of the bikie gangs. He's probably dealing everything, this guy. Like, he's got to be in crime. But like I said, so obviously you do a podcast with him. He was your wingman together. And everyone has their, you know, views, and you had your own views and opinions, and you had some interesting topics, you know, and I loved it. But I just want to ask, how are you going and how are you coping?
Look, I'll start with this and then I'll go back. I'll start this way. Someone told me a long time ago that mourning, right, is just your mourning for selfishness, for something that you don't have anymore, right? And I think that me looking at it that way altered the way I looked at loss, you know, because obviously both of my parents I don't have anymore, and that was an awful thing. But in the end of the day, they're in a greater place. They're not suffering, and the pain that you feel is the pain because you don't have them anymore, right?
And you're supposed to feel it.
Jimmy, it sucked, and it still does. Okay, Jimmy, as a friend, he's a brother, right? The loss of him was one of the hardest things that I've ever fucking dealt with, and I mean that. Like, it hurt. It hurt like fucking nothing else. Okay, like that guy I met, and I've probably anyone who's listened to the odes to him and stuff will know the stories, but I met him at the Arnold's in like 2012 or something, and you know, and it was just like, you're that alpha guy or something or other, he says to me, and you know, we're just best mates ever since, you know. And there was a period there when I was on the Gold Coast, he used to fly up every Friday and do skin folds from Sydney, you know, and stay the night and then fly back in the morning because I had the gym on the Gold Coast there. So he just has been a big part of my life for the whole time, and he's never not been in it. So no, I'm not over it at all. Okay, and there's days that, you know, that suck real hard, you know, but I don't avoid looking at photos of him, and I don't avoid looking at things to do with him and stuff like that, you know. Yeah, but that one, I'm looking at him. He's on the shelf over there. Dude, that one sucked hard, you know. And poor Michael Galley, he was the one that had to ring me and tell me, you know. And I don't think his ears are still going to be okay for another good while from the howling that he copped, you know, while I roamed around the house for like an hour while he just sat there on the phone. You can just hear him in the background. I'm still here, you know. I'm still here, you know. Yeah. So, yeah. So, bro, yeah, I know. I mean, it's a yeah, it sucks. There you go.
I think, yeah. And I think, like, it's weird because 3 weeks before his passing, he reached out to me and he goes, "Hey, bro, you want to do a podcast together?" Like, I said, "Yeah," but he goes, "Come to my studio. We'll do a podcast in my studio." And I said, "Oh, all right, let me organize it." And you know yourself, trying to book people in, you need weeks, to get it all happening. But I think the other question, I think, without what happened, as it can be as simple as, it's not about uncovering things. It's trying to simplify things in a way, like it can be, like I said, it can be a heart attack. That's what it can be. Like, what I'm trying to say is, what happened? Because I was in denial too. Like, I was like, I was pretty sad about it.
I think look, the family is chosen to, and rightly so, like we said, with the way that it was with the funeral, and only a couple of us were able to go to the burial.
Because I did ask you.
Yeah, and at the time, we didn't have details, and it was something that was very much on a need to know basis. And but as far as that goes, never been officially told. I've never asked. And obviously my understanding was it was a cardiac arrest. But I stand to be corrected. But the cause of that, absolutely can tell you without any word of lie, I don't know. I, to be honest with you, mate, I don't think anyone's going to know, because I think that it would have been mentioned. It's a question I get asked a lot, you know what I mean? And I think that
we can all speculate because of
in the beginning,
because what we see and what we know of the industry, maybe, and also pushing ourselves and pushing to extremes. But that doesn't matter, because like I said, symptoms occur, people pass away, and it's children, adults, different ages. I mean, I said, it just thought I'd ask these questions.
No, listen, I don't take offense to that. I think the probably the sensitive part about it was because of the size of him, and obviously straight away people are going to go, "Oh yeah, well, he's done this and he's done this and he's done this," right? I think the thing that really amazes me the most, though, is that, and as I said, I don't know this, okay? People who should be more concerned with the people who have been vaccinated with this COVID crap, right, need to be more concerned, because I don't even ask people, right, about that sort of stuff. But if he was vaccinated, I'm going to tell you straight up, the vaccine is what killed him, right? I don't care what anyone thinks of me by saying that sort of shit.
I'm on your side. I'm fucking oath.
Right. So, there's so many, look at all the deaths in bodybuilding. Really? They're all vaccinated, man.
Sleeper cells, mate.
Come on, man. I mean, seriously. So it's interesting that people would prefer to sort of look at it and go, "Oh, he was big, he was doing this, he was doing this." My question to Jimmy would be, were you vaccinated, brother? Right. And I never asked that question, because I really have a firm belief system that it's not that if someone asked me, I would tell them, truthfully, because I don't hide that sort of stuff. But I don't think that anyone should have an opinion on that stuff. And there was too much opinions going on during that period with that sort of stuff. So if I was a vaccinated human out there, I'd be concerned.
Yeah. I mean, my uncle and my father died just shortly after the second shot, right? And there was no reason, even though they were old. You can say, "Oh, they're old." Yeah. Like, fuck. But look at Shane Warne. Look at everything that's going on in the world. You can tell. You don't have to be dumb to realize, why these people are dropping dead all of a sudden. But it's like I said, history is going to mention COVID time, and it's going to be like, we think it's bad, but history is going to make it out like, what the fuck happened that period when people were manipulated. Like,
that's what's going to get to. I mean, the Warney thing, for example, bro, like, come on. Do you think a couple lines of coke in a hotel room in Thailand did that? Come on.
No way.
Like, come on. Chance. I mean, I'm pretty sure he would have had more than just a couple in his life. Trust me. He's, but anyhow.
He was, yeah, like I said, I mean, even his son spoke a little bit about that. But but that's what happens, mate. We move on. Like I said, I look at, you know, death is, we think people without, nothing about Jimmy, I'm talking about, we think people will miss us. We break up in a relationship and we think, oh, they're not going to find anything better than me. Oh, fucking that. Listen, man, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, or 20 years ago, you broke up with a girl. Are you still thinking you're not going to find better than her? Like, what does it matter? Like, they will. Everyone does. Just try to keep going forward and just look ahead. So, but like I said, I just wanted to, I guess, maybe people might think, oh, what a cop-out, he didn't even ask that question. And also that, you know, no one's wanted to maybe ask, you've never been in a position to be asked. And I think asking that question, I think it just helps us and people maybe sit back in the chair and go, yeah, well, at least we know something from someone.
Well, look, and as I said, what I've told you is what I know. And that's you know, I would just I'm a very truthful person when it comes to that. But the answer to going to that, how am I? I miss my friend. You know, like the day, you know, there's no difference. You know, like I think about him all the time, and I talk to him every day, and whether it was a text or whether it was just some stupid conversation. The guy used to leave Riley's at Seven Hills, and he would ring me while he was driving home to Central Coast. Yeah, that's how he used to pass the time. You know, I mean, we just sit there and just. You know, and he used to say to me stuff like, dude, he goes, no one makes me laugh like you. He goes, just get on the phone to make me laugh for an hour while I'm driving home, you know? And it was great. It was like 8 or 9 o'clock at night, dude. I could think of nothing better. You know what I mean? I fucking miss him, man. You know? It sucks, you know? Just
very hard to find that, you know that.
Gentle giant, man.
Very hard to find friendships like that. You're going to struggle to find that again. Trust me.
Absolutely. You know, and those sorts of things are the once in a lifetime things. That's what we cherish, man. You know, like it's.
I don't have a friend like that. That's what I'm saying to you. It's very hard to find. We wish you could find them, but they're very rare.
The thing with relationships too, Steve, is that every relationship is different. They have a different parameter, and there are things that each relationship can have, right? And some can have like that real brotherly thing where there's just straight up, right, I can just depend on this. It's very sedate and that's it, which is amazing. But then you got another relationship that offers all these other things that it doesn't have, right? And every one of them, they're always different based on the personality and the type of the person. Like, and then the relationship I have with my dogs. Man.
What kind of dogs you got?
I got 2 Chihuahuas, man. So you didn't see that coming, did you?
No, I was expecting, Roddy.
Yeah, no, I'm not that person, man. I just, I'm pretty comfortable with my masculinity, so I'm happy having 3 kilo dogs.
No, I've got, firstly, I had 2 mini fox terriers, Spot and Toby. I had them for like 18 years, man.
Yeah.
And Spot died just recently in December. The 31st of December. Fuck, it destroyed me, man. I've had dogs.
Yeah.
But the thing is, he was like a robust fucking. Never did I ever vaccinated them, mate. Sometimes I'd leave to go to Melbourne for the weekend, and they're in the backyard and just threw all this food out there and fucking water. And the 2 brothers, and because they had each other, they were okay. They had a big kennel. They had a big shed that they used to go in. And now I've got a Staffy and a poodle.
Interesting combo.
Yeah, that's 100%. I got a Staffy. She's called Roxy, and then I got a poodle, standard poodle. She's a big girl. Yeah. She's called Tipsy. But the funniest is they're the fucking best of mates, man. They're fucking good mates. They've never had a fight. They know who's like kind of like they let each other eat. I kind of think Roxy the Staff is like she's an older sister. So she runs the show. But relationships, pets, dogs. But look, I'm sure you've got some friends around there. But like I said, if you ever want to chat, man, like I said, you're more than welcome to message and just say.
Thanks, bro. Thank you.
Like I said, I just wanted to make sure you're okay and also ask the question because I'm sure people would be thinking, oh, this is an opportunity to hear that too. So why not? But let's talk about that you're a state and national soccer representative in your teens.
Long time ago.
And at 16, man, You were about to go and go to Germany on a scholarship, but unfortunately you ruptured your ACL. But tell us a little bit about soccer. That's a true Greek boy playing soccer.
Yeah, I mean, look, I started playing when I was probably 8 years old, which is probably a couple of years older than what they were started. My mum didn't want me to play. I don't know why, but I did, and then I was pretty good at it. And
what position did you play?
Well, I started off being a striker, to be honest, because I just, it's like everyone wants to score goals, right? But I never really became a truly good player until I played at the back. And back then, when the structure used to have like a conventional sweeper, so the defender behind the back line. And then I just found that in defense and in vision and also the ability to attack from that back position just really suited me. And then that's when my ability and the way that I played really took off, and yeah, I don't know what to say, man. I mean, I won a scholarship when I was 16. And this is how long ago it was, actually. So East and West Germany was still divided.
All right.
So the scholarship was to go to West Germany, and basically you get put up in as a youth player, as like an apprentice type situation. And it was originally, I think it was 3 months or 6 months was the scholarship. Yeah. And you get put into a family home over there, and you basically play in the youth team and look after these. And my mum had that conversation with me. She goes, "You do realize that you may not come home now. Like this could be it, sort of thing." And I'm just like, "Oh, I never really thought about that." And yeah, and then I don't know. It was only a few weeks beforehand, maybe 6 weeks before. I can't remember. It was a fair while ago. It was still the 80s, man. I ruptured the ACL, and I was naive. I didn't know what that meant. I just when I did the injury, I looked at my knee when I was laying on the ground. It was crooked, right? So I just thought, it's a dislocation, because we used to dislocate fingers and they'd be sideways. You just put them back in. Oh, it's a bigger joint. Why not? You know what I mean? Like just dislocation. And then someone goes, no, you're going to be out for 12 months. Like you got like some serious, no, bullshit. My knees. Yeah. And I just didn't realize what was in store for me. And even the operations then were primitive. They were, back then they used to do what they called a patella tendon graft. So they took a piece out of the, patella tendon and a little bit of kneecap, a little bit of splintered bone off the tibia. And then they drill some holes through the femur and the tibia, and they'd thread this piece of tendon that was attached to these bone splints through, tension it up, and then screw them in. And then that's how it replaced. And it was a very, very tough ligament, because my understanding back then was they used to take about a third of the patella tendon. Issue is that I was only like 17 or something, and the problem was they weren't convinced that my growth plates were completely closed and that I could still be growing, and that extra growth would destabilize that operation just because it would shift. Because a lot of people don't understand this. You don't have to rupture the cruciate for it to be redundant. It only needs to stretch about 3 millimeters, and it may as well not be there. That's how destabilizing it is. So that was it, man. Came back, recovered, played really well, and then about 18 months later did it again, and then had it repaired the second time. And when I had it repaired the second time, I went, you know what, I don't get a third chance, so I gave it up. It was just I always loved the gym, because like when I was younger, I was doing that shit in the backyard that I told you about. So then when I went to the gym, I'd never been in the gym before, because as I said, Dad built me a lat pull down. He made it out of steel, welded it, the whole thing with rollers on the roof. Poor Mum, I'd be rolling this thing, and the whole house would shake, you know what I mean? Because I was on rollers, you know what I mean? But I went to the gym to do this rehab stuff, and I was, screw this, man. While I'm here, I'm just going to train my upper body. And before long, people started going, "You're getting a bit bigger." I was like, I didn't even notice it. I didn't even know. I don't know, man. It was just it was a different time. You know what I mean? We didn't have phones. We didn't have cameras. It was a time you go to a gym and there'll be a sign up above the mirror. I'll never forget it, man. One of the earliest images, I had a gym and I had a sign up on the wall band. It said, "Steroids are like masturbation. Everyone does it, but no one talks about it." That's what it said above the mirror. I'm looking at it going, "Oh, that's interesting." Well, I don't do steroids. I'm like 16. So, but yeah, man, that's how it started. That's fucking good memory, though. Look, I'm that typical, I suppose, OCD, ADHD personality type. I can't do anything. I can't be not, if I do something, I can't not be good at it. So I will just do it and do it and do it and do it until I become good at it. right? And then that's it. And the training was always in the background because I'd never had the aspiration to compete. I didn't even understand that. It was just like I just wanted to be a wrestler and also swing a golf club. and that was it. And I was fortunate at the time. I was a member at Oxley Golf Club in Brisbane on the western suburbs, and it was a nice course. And I used to just play with a good group of guys. And I'd also played golf as a kid, as a junior, when I grew up on the north side of town. So although it's something you've got to keep doing to be good at, once I started playing again, it sort of came back probably quicker than the average person that was learning the first time. Yeah, I think within 12 months of playing, I went from the 27 handicap standard to single figures to 9 in the first 12 months. And then after that, it was just like, all I want to do is hit golf balls, man. I play a couple of times a week, then I go down the range. I'm not talking about the driving range you hit off the turf. I used to go down the course range with my bucket of balls and just sit there and just clip balls. It was hours and hours and hours, and then just go and pick them up and do that sort of stuff. And I just enjoyed it. And then I became good at it, but as I would have told you in the story there, I started to get heavier and bigger. And a lot of things I noticed at that time indirectly that I realized that I have explanations for later is that I couldn't go the whole 4.5 hours without eating, right? Not that I tried to, but always after I ate, I always used to have some sort of a radical, like I'd hit a bad shot or fall apart or something, right? And it was it was to do with insulin, in my opinion, always was. Now looking back on it, insulin, the change in blood sugar, the difference in that, mental, cognitive state of having stable blood sugar to having something that's moving up and down or up and then down afterwards. And that was a difficult thing. And I was getting heavier. And at the time I was trying to get bigger. So I wanted to eat more. And I just felt like if I walked 7 kilometers, which was the average, if you actually had a good round of golf and went straight from the fucking tee to the hole, you'd do 7 kilometers. Right. If you played soldier golf and hit it left and right, then you could end up doing 10Ks, I suppose, And I was already eating. What I was eating was difficult to eat, so I just went, I'll get a buggy and drive around. But none of my mates, because they wanted to walk for exercise. So then I used to sit in the buggy beside them while they were walking, and I was like half speed, you know what I mean? And I don't know, man. It just progressed out of my life, you know what I mean? It was one of those things when you're playing off a handicap like that, you've got to hit balls all the time. Yeah, it's not something that you can go back to, and not hit a ball for like a month or two and then play off 5. I certainly wasn't at a position where I'd played at that level for all my life, that it would never go away. So, then you start not playing as much, and then all of a sudden it became frustrating. And instead of having that big picture of the average person would love to be able to play like this, but for me, it was never good enough. It was like, but I used to play like this though, So
do you go hit a ball now? Do you ever go play golf?
Very, very infrequently, but every now and again for a bit of fun, we'll go down the range and we'll hit some golf balls. And when I do, people look at me and go, you actually hit the ball pretty well. I'm just like, I don't really say anything about it anymore. Like, it's just a bit of coordination and stuff like that.
A bit of luck, guys. A bit of luck.
Yeah. So, but
and you mentioned you had a barbershop, and it was tell us about that, because barbershops are at the rage, aren't they, at the moment? They're like acai shops.
Yeah. Look, I was really fortunate that when I did my apprenticeship as a hairdresser. It was my mother-in-law, so you understand. He was a very, very well-known hairdresser up here in Queensland, still is. And I did an apprenticeship through him, so it was the complete trade, ladies and the whole thing. And it wasn't like what it is now, where you go to a shop and someone would specialize in cutting or someone would specialize in coloring. You just had to do fucking everything, right? And it was like you'd have to perm, you'd have to do all this stuff. So there's a lot of shit you didn't want to do, right? Yep. So, and I was always just enjoyed cutting and coloring the most, you know what I mean? So then the opportunity, when I stopped working there, the opportunity came up to work in a barbershop, and I went, fuck, this actually might work, because I'm actually just working on the cutting aspect. And so I did, and I really enjoyed it. And then I was only in that shop for about I reckon, 12 months. And then the owner of that shop got the opportunity to put another shop in a major shopping center about 15 minutes away. And he asked me if I wanted to go partnership with him. And I did, mate. I think I was only 22, I think, then. So then that was it. And that sort of commenced I've never had a boss since I was in my early 20s. So the barbershop was amazing. It wasn't just a little hole in the wall. It was a big 7-chair shop in a major shopping center. And it was at a time where barbershops were making a resurgence, but there wasn't 16 of them in every shopping center like there is now, with these stupid leasing people in the shops doing such a bad job with their leasing. Unbelievable.
Yeah, leasing's killed everything, though.
Dude, it's so ridiculous. I mean, we had a massive shopping center back then, and there was only 2 barbershops in it. And mate, we killed it. We made, we pretty much, to be honest, man, and being fair, at the time, we really had no right to make that sort of money off a barbershop. You know what I mean? Like, it was amazing.
Yeah, I love that. Why not? I mean, yeah, but why not? Like,
but it was tough work, bro. You had to sit behind a chair and you'd be, cutting, 30 haircuts a day, and you'd be trying to sneak off 5 minutes for lunch. You'd have hair splints stuck into your in the inside of your arms, and they'd get stuck under your skin, and you get them under your nails, and you cut your fingers with the scissors. It was the interesting thing. You'd have a sore back from, trying to lean over to cut young toddlers' hair and stuff like that. It was weird,
Yeah, but like, as I mentioned at the beginning about what Mark Boris was saying,
Yeah.
The thing is, I look at things at the moment, and like there's no fucking room for fun, and at the moment everyone's gloating over property prices, and I think to myself, are you guys fucked? Because I was in the property game myself, buying, not that I was a real estate agent, but what I mean is, fuck, man, I could buy a property, buy a Harley Davidson, go to a trip to Europe, and still go out with my mates. There was some discipline in areas at times. Maybe I had 2 jobs because I was a network engineer for HSBC, but I also did door work. Like I did like cashy jobs. Let's just say I did some door work, but it wasn't like it ate all my money and it had to eat all my money. You just could break it up. But it's kind of like you said, I mean, you shouldn't have been making that money, but we worked. We had to, we worked. Like you worked. I did my job. I turned up, did my job. I did my 8 hours, and I worked 2 nights a week, Friday and Saturday nights, which was close to half my wages. And I said, that money I'm going to blow. This money I'll save. But like, it's just like suicide at the moment. I'm just kind of trying to work out the mathematical equation. And like I said, you shouldn't have been making this money. Not that we're here to talk about investing, but let's talk about it a little bit. But my first buy, my first buy, I remember, was my wages were, and not that I was on great wages, let me just say that, but my wages was a quarter, so 25% of the property buy. And it wasn't like I was a manager. It wasn't like I was running my own business. So 25%. So we're saying that if a property was 200K, you were going to be on 50K a year. Like, that's what you were. I want to know, at $3 million, and you're not a manager, you're just an employee like I was, are you going to be on 25? So 25% of 3 million is 750,000.
Right.
So you're going to be on 750,000. That's what I mean. Like, is anybody working out the maths?
Bro, they're not interested, right? Everything now is about what it looks like. Okay. It's all about, I want to be photographed in front of the Lambo. I want to be photographed in front of the canal. Never mind that my fucking nuts have been cut off and they're in a bank safe somewhere. I don't have anything. Going back to what you said, this house here that I'm in now, right? This is the first house. Well, it's actually the second house I bought. The first one I lost, but we won't go into that one.
No.
Because we've all probably been there, right? But this is the first one I bought, okay? When I bought this house, going back, I never thought about it that way, but it was interesting that you actually worded it like, because it made me think while you're talking, right? My salary at the time when I bought this was 70% of the total mortgage per year.
There you go.
And now, obviously, this house is, worth 15 times what it was.
Yeah.
So technically there's a lot of millionaires out there. Right? Yeah. You get where I'm coming from. Yeah. You know what? You're a millionaire because all of a sudden the property market just went berserk, and your $500,000 house was worth $1 million now. Yeah. Well, is selling for $1 million now. Yeah. I get them every day, man, ringing me up. Oh, we've got people interested in your area. Dude, why would I sell it to buy something else that's overinflated anyway? Like, there's no point, Yeah. Unless I'm selling up to go overseas and leave, which we won't get into this one, but unless this government changes, mate, it would be an option for most people.
No. It is. I mean, if people, like I said, it is. No, because your parents, my parents,
yes,
they left Greece to come to a country to prosper.
Yes. Yeah.
But we're fucking asleep at the wheel because maybe we have to leave to prosper. Maybe there's nothing left here. Like they've killed us, because they've got us covered. Like, I know, I'm looking at it, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm gonna have to start selling illegal cigarettes.
Well, you think about
I'm gonna have to go to the dark side, man, because the good side doesn't work anymore. It's like, I mean, we all, everyone did the little cashy jobs. They do this. It's part of growth. Now they've got you covered.
Think about the balls, man, right? Think about the balls at a young age, right? To not know the language, right? And just go out here and go, do you know what? There's something got to be better out there for me. That's what they did, right? And then they worked their ass off. But this is interesting what you said before was the house that I grew up in, right? The only house that I knew, because it was built a year before I was born, right? And Dad built that house and land. He didn't build it himself, but he bought the house and he got the house built for $7,000. Yeah. Right? Now, we had a very traditional household, so and it wasn't chauvinistic. So I don't get anyone wants to think that I'm chauvinistic. You go get fucked, literally, right? Yeah. I respect women. I love my mum was the greatest thing I ever knew, and having a mother like that made you just completely disrespect women. Period. Right? So any of that crap's out the window. But you know what? She used to look after us. She used to run the house. Right? Without her, she was a vital cog. Okay, she kept the whole shit together. Literally, the old man, he was amazing, most loving human of all time. He'd go and make the money, but he fucking needed her to organize everything. Literally, right? She was that saying, the glue between the bricks. That's what she truly was, But what I'm saying is the old man used to go and work, and he used to come home 3:00 in the afternoon, and I used to sit there on the fence post and wait for him because I was so excited Dad would come home because he would bring me like a red skin or something, right? And I used to have this little plastic watch that actually told the time, and I used to put it on intentionally, go, Dad's going to be home in 5 minutes. Now, what I'm getting at, apart from all the nostalgia here and all the memories, is that he used to work a full-time job, right? He used to pay the mortgage, right? He'd buy the groceries, he'd pay all the bills, and then he would save up enough money out of that one. Mum was at home. Well, I'm not going to say Mum wasn't working. Oh, she was working with us, but she wasn't getting paid, right? And he saved all that money and then buys a block of land as well, right? And this is what the breakdown of the family unit is now, is that that sort of stuff is not viable anymore unless someone's earning some obscene amount of money. And the whole family dynamic has changed, we grew up intact. We grew up in a very loving environment, and we grew up not wanting anything, and just that was it, So
yeah, I like I said, because we're online and we watch and listen to people online. I think the most clearest picture for me, and I keep saying, unfortunately, I'm divorced, but I didn't have a plan for it because I was happy to. And this is the thing that a lot of people aren't realizing, and still today, myself, in being in relationships, I think I'm okay with turbulence. I think someone measured it as anybody that's been married or together for 50 years, in that 50 years, you've been in love, fallen out of love, been in love, fallen out of love that many times, but you never wanted to leave because you re-fell in love again. Like literally no one sits there and goes, he's a great guy this week, or I love him so much this week. Like, I fucking hate his guts. Don't talk to me. You know, like, that's okay. Like, you just don't dump people to the, like, what I'm saying is, so we're kind of learnt how disposable all this has become. But
I love that word.
Yeah, it's disposable where, like I said, I mean, it's okay. Like I said, 60% are divorced, 20% are in marriages they don't want to be in. So that goes to 80%, and 20% have got it right. So that's okay. That's how they work it.
And like then included in that 20% are the ones that don't want their peace interfered with.
100%. I mean, like I said to you, it all dies. I mean, intimacy dies, sex dies. Like, fuck, it's just a piece of shit. But like I said to you, once you know that you just want to reestablish each time, you want to that comeback, the resurgence, like the sequel to love in that one relationship. Like I said, you might go a few months, you're not interested, like you're not talking too much, people are angry with each other, but then there's that love again and the growth again because it's the family, the commitment. Like I said, that's literally literally gone out the window, right? And the other thing is, which made a lot of sense, which I didn't know, was you picked the wrong person, you're fucked. It's just how it is. Meaning, we all want to think that you want to be with someone that is a little bit different to you. But if you're a saver and they're a spender, it ain't going to work. If you are a 6 a.m. get up and they like getting up at 11 a.m., it ain't going to work. Like, as much as they're beautiful and you love them and you want to make it work, it's just not going to work. Like, it doesn't mean you're better than them, they're better than you. There's no such thing.
There's got to be a team, Steve.
And that's what I think, like, we don't do well, because once you pick the team, like the glue between the bricks, whatever it's called, then you've got the sweetener. You know what I mean? Then you've got the... And I'm going to say one more thing. I've never brought this up in a podcast, but I want to bring this up here because two Greek guys talking like they think they know all this shit, and let's ramp it up. You know, when I grew up, I never washed my clothes. Hear me out. Let me finish this. I never washed the dishes. Hear me out. I never folded my clothes, and I never made my room. But let me tell you, the fact that my mum did it for me, I need to do it for my kids. So I never say to my son, come and fucking do the dishes. I should wash for him. And I hope you learn to pay it forward. But when I see sometimes, excuse me, my ex-wife goes, he's going to learn to wash the dishes. I go, fucking, I never learned how to wash the dishes. I wanted to wash the dishes because this lady did it for me. So, see, people don't get about paying it forward. Yes, there's dickheads out there. We got it. But what I mean is, you learn by serving. And once you learn who was your servant and who gave to you and you didn't want to take advantage of. So I wash my clothes. I cook. I want to cook. I want to. But like I said, my daughter comes over. I don't say to my daughter, go wash the dishes. I make my daughter's bed. I mean, they're older now, but I still do. Like, I don't go in their room and go, your room's a fucking pigsty. I don't care, because no one told me that. So what I mean is, I don't go, my daughter, she might get up and she's getting ready in the shower, and I walk past the room and I see her, it's a fucking doona, man. I see her doona's already, I'll go fucking make the bed, because I just remember the lady that did it for me and I didn't realize it.
It's, mate, I never even had an alarm clock, Steve. Okay.
Yeah.
I used to live downstairs, right, when I was working, and Mum used to come down, tap on the window, right? And then she'd give me 15 minutes. She was the snooze as well, right? She'd come back 15 minutes later, all right, you got to get up now. Then I'd get up, I'd come to the shower. When I'd get out of the shower, my pants and my shirt were ironed, hanging up, right? And then I put them on and I go upstairs and breakfast was cooked, right?
Now, beautiful.
I'm not saying that's the way it's got to be or whatever, but that's what I grew up knowing, right? And then one day I got to about 18 years old. About that, I'm just picked a number, but it would have to be in that vicinity, right? And Mum goes, come here. I said, what's up? She goes, I'm going to teach you how to iron.
Yeah.
I go, what do you mean? She goes, I don't want you to be one of those useless men that can't do anything. So I want you need to learn these things, you know? So she did, and I did that. And like, mate, I've got pride in that now, man. I do everything. And I cook well. And I cook well to the point that when people come, I'll cook instead because I really believe I'll do it better. Right?
Trust me, I agree with you. I agree.
Right. So, but other people have said to me that that's my love language, so to speak. That's the way I show people I care too, which is fair as well, you know. But it's one of those things. You're in my house, I just do it, right? Yeah. You're in my house. You're my guest. Yeah. This is how this works. I'm doing it. But you get set in your ways as you get older, man. You know what I mean? Like, you know, it's been a tough one because over the years, I've got a few bedrooms here in the house. I've got a 4-bedroom place, and you know, I've got an office in one, and I've got a junk room in the other, and I've got a bedroom in the other, and I've got my bedroom, and pretty much how most people go. And over the years, you've always had people, oh, you got a spare bedroom, you know, like and I'm just like, before they'd even get to the question, I said, let's just have a slightly awkward conversation now before we have to have a very awkward conversation later, right? And the first time I come, I'm just like, look, I said, look, I'm a 40-year-old man, okay? I don't live with other 40-year-old men, okay? It doesn't work out. Like, if you need somewhere to stay, you need help, but you're here. Like, I've got you. But understand that you're leaving, though, right? We're not going to get to the point where I've got to turn and go, listen, by the way, it's time you move on, right? We're not, because the one thing you'll know this too, man, is that you get more and more set in your ways, you know what I mean? And you're veering off that line becomes more and more difficult as you get older too. And I think that's what I look back on youth and just see how flexible it was. And, you're up for change and all these sorts of things. Whereas when you get older, what's change? Fuck that, man. Change makes me nervous.
But it's funny, like I said, I know why we're bringing up relationships, which is okay because, like I said, a podcast is about.
We both haven't been good at it, so there we go.
Yeah, no, but the thing is, but I've come to realize that what I've really realized is this. Yeah. I think everyone's entitled to enjoy a good meal. Everyone's entitled for you to look after them. If they're in your presence, maybe in your home, or come to visit you. What makes me laugh is when they tell me, I'm talking about the opposite, I'm talking about chicks. When they say to me, you think you're entitled. And I say, this is what I say, I am entitled to a good meal, but you don't have to give it to me. Maybe no one will ever give it to me, but I am entitled to someone being kind to give to me a beautiful meal. Like, why wouldn't I fucking turn that down? But do you think you're calling me entitled because I'm demanding it? Or the fact is, I've accepted you don't want to do it, but you're now telling me I'm thinking I'm entitled. That's what I'm saying is, like, common decency is everyone's entitled. If you come down to Sydney and you come to my place, I'm cooking, you're entitled to eat. Let's eat.
Correct. Right.
But people like have this bullshit that we should diminish entitlement, which entitlement's okay. It's when you abuse it in a way that you think you don't want to do jack shit, and you know, like I said, but I don't know. I'm like lost in this area at the moment.
Well, when someone uses words like that to me, which I never really give anyone the opportunity to be honest, because the people I'm surrounded by I had a very, look, everyone loves saying this small soap. I have, right? I'm very private and very quiet, and I just stick to my, my crew. That's it, right? And they're very few and far between. But when someone comes up with a word like that, you're entitled, or you're this, or you're that, I don't even engage. I look at them and go, tell me what that means.
Yeah.
Because they don't know what it means. They're just using a word they've heard on social media. It's like the whole thing, you're a masochistic bloke. Really, what's it mean? Explain it to me. Give me the definition of this word. Moron. These people are just regurgitating crap that they just don't know what it is. The other thing too, man, is the thing that I've learned in regards to narcissism and narcissistic society. And let's be fair, the industry is rife with life is, but the industry in particular. I mean, it's just like, you know, it's a narcissistic environment. But the thing that I've learned about narcissists is that the way you hurt them is just ignoring them, right? And people say it's simple, right? Attention to them is like oxygen. They can't breathe when they have attention. Now, the thing is what people don't get, if they say something to you and you turn and go and get fucked, right? They actually would prefer that than being ignored. And that's the thing. So now I don't engage in anything anymore, man. I just leave it. I just go, do you know what? So be it. You know what? You're no one that I need to explain myself to. I don't, if you think that that's what I am without knowing me, then God bless you. Go and run with that. You know? Yeah. So and your piece is worth more than that, because someone told me one day, I used to be one of these people who used to get really irate with stuff, right? Because I take shit personally, right? I do the best I can in life. I with my work, with everything I do it with the highest amount of integrity that I have, okay? So it's easy to get offended when you put that into it. And I remember going later in the evening, just being furious about something that someone did or whatever they said, or having an altercation with someone. And then one day someone put their hand on my shoulder and said, Chris, do you think right now that person is thinking about you the way you're thinking about them? And I'm looking at it and going, no. They go, that was it. And the moment it said, it was like a ton of bricks dropping. And the moral of the story is they're probably off playing with their kids, or, you know, eating a dessert and laughing and giggling and not giving you a second thought. And I'm still here hours later festering. So who's the one that wins? So in the end, now it's just like, don't engage.
Yeah. I think it's relationships is a tough one, but just so we'll go back to a little bit of bodybuilding. But yeah, I find when people say to me, you want to, sometimes they just bring out the worst in you, and I congratulate them. I said, you know what? You know what? You did it. You did it. You poked enough. We got the worst. Here it is. Let's embrace. Like it just, like I said, I don't know. Like I said, people like to, I always say, you know, you poke a dog, hit a dog long enough, it stops wagging its tail and it starts showing its teeth, and the teeth come out. Like, you know, like I said, people a little bit, like I said, I think, like you said, a little bit, people are a bit soft. I don't mind a good argument. I like to have it. I like to have a go, and I like people to use some language, not personally at me, but they go, "Oh, you're fucking wrong," or "Who the fuck do you think you are?" And that's funny, because I'll go, "Yeah, who do I think I am?" Maybe, but people, fuck, you can't even argue, man. You can't even have a discussion anymore. Like
you're not even allowed to disagree with someone, man. Now,
oh man, I find it hard to disagree with my kids, let alone, and that's hard enough. But just quickly, you did, you had multiple Queensland championships, 6 of them. What were the 6 that you did? Just so people know.
06, 08, 06, 08, 13, 14, 16, 17, 18.
Were they predominantly the IFBB, yeah?
All IFBB. I never competed outside of the IFBB ever. And I think the other thing too that
you mentioned something about NABA, but you said something about
NABA was the catalyst, I think, that made me want to do a show. And it was a coincidence, because they had the NABA Southern Hemispheres was on at the Gold Coast, right? And they used to have it at the Southport RSL, right?
Yeah.
Right. So you go down fucking Southport, man. It was an hour, not even an hour drive from my house, down Scarborough Street. You'd park out there, and it was a big show, man. It was like it was just a really, really good show. And I just remember that one that I went to, it just had an impact on me. There was so many good competitors, and I don't know, I just walked away from it just going, fuck, man, this is actually quite cool. Like, I never thought about this type of thing. I don't know about getting up in a pair of undies like that, and I don't know about this, you know, dancing around and trying to
Well, you mentioned that on
Stuff.
video, you're putting on the smallest underwear you'd ever put on in your life.
Unbelievable,
That
man.
hardly fit you.
Yeah, just terrible. Yeah. Terrible.
And tell us about, well, let's keep it at terrible, but you did it enough terrible times.
You know what?
But also you hated, the worst thing you hated wasn't the undies, mate.
No.
You hated a tan.
Yeah. Look, I was in love with the process.
Yeah.
I was a nut job. So I believed that I could hurt myself more than the person beside me or suffer more. I believed that. So the process was what I was in love with. The tan, I hated it. Just felt like mud stuck to me. It was awful. I just really could never get used to that. Show day, I'm not gonna say it was my least favorite part. It was the process was far more rewarding and enjoyable, but winning was cool. But it was like the culmination of it, and it felt like the culmination also signaled the end of that section. See, people now, they just whinge. Right? Oh my God, I'm hungry. Oh my God, I'm this. Oh my God, I'm that. You should be fucking hungry. You're supposed to be hungry, right? You're supposed to be in a deficit, right? You're not meant to be feeling amazing when you're a week out. Oh my God, I'm so tired all the time. I don't want to train. You should feel like that, man. But the difference is the person that gets out and does the training is the one that creates the difference between that and the person that doesn't, right? And that was the big thing. But I'm not a natural performer that wants to be on stage and being stared at. That's not something that came to me. Even at the end, people used to say to me, you know, it must be nice not getting nervous anymore. I'm going, dude, I get nervous every time. Many times I did it. I was standing at the side curtain going, oh my God, you stick your head out and there's just people as far as the eye could see. And you're going, yeah, I really want to go out there in these little undies and just fucking stand there. Cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I love all of it because it gave me the ability to make a life within this industry, right? So I can't, I have nothing negative to say in that regard. It's just that I think that there are some facets of it right now that need to be, we need to be reminded of the fact that it really is a health industry, right? And that's what we need to just reinforce here.
Well,
and
you mentioned myths, mistakes, and stupidity.
Yeah. Well, I think that stupidity is stupid.
Like you said, it's supposed to be the health industry, but go ahead.
Okay, so that's the biggest thing that I want to drum home, right? Is that for me and with coaching, I've always looked at coaching as as a compositional thing, yes, and as a result thing on a visual level. But at the same time, I've always had like a mission statement, so to speak. And I think that every person should when they try to coach or better someone's life, okay, in that regard. And let's look at it as a procedure. Right? And I would look at it and go, right, the things you want to control, you want to reduce inflammation or inflammatory response within the human. You want to control cortisol. And then you obviously want to increase the body's sensitivity to insulin. Now, that should never change whether the human is a gen pop person or whether the person competes. They're the fundamentals you should be looking to achieve. And I think that people are throwing some of those things out the window for the sake of just taking some drugs to get the job done quickly. And they're the things that I have the concerns with. Now, competing in general, probably not the most healthiest thing to do overall, but it doesn't mean you can't do it in the most healthiest way possible. And that's the parts of it that I sort of struggle with, and that's why I've never really veered from that sort of stuff. I've always looked at it and I do it, and that's why with this new business that we're doing is that we're really looking at those sort of avenues through personalized nutrition and personalized supplementation to structure food, structure training, and structure supplementation in order to help remedy those three. There's more than those three key areas, but they're three really good starting points, those three things. I think that there's not enough work done, and there's not enough knowledge out there, mate. Everyone now is just like, oh yeah, how many calories you're on? Yep, this much. Okay, well, let's just cut that by 40%, and here, take some Retta. Like, can't even say the word, you can't even say the compound in its, you've got a problem when you can't even use the full word. You've got to cut it down to a nickname. I mean, that's when it becomes a problem. Retta. I mean, dude, if you, yeah, I don't have an issue with retatrutide, but I've got an issue with there's no education that goes with it, as I said before, and it doesn't. There's got to be safe practices too. People just don't understand. It's not just about taking a drug and not eating. Not eating, whether you're taking a drug or not, will still cause muscular atrophy, right? You've got to eat to maintain muscle. You've got to train to maintain muscle. If you starve yourself, muscle takes more calories to maintain within the human body than the same amount. So if you have 1 kilo of muscle versus 1 kilo of fat, the muscle is going to take that much more calories to sustain than the fat does, right? So it's like that hot air balloon effect. If the hot air balloon's going down, what do you throw over? The sandbags. You throw over the heavy shit. The muscle is what gets thrown overboard, right? People keep forgetting the body is an adaptive organism, right? It has one function only, and that is to take its next breath. It's really as simple as that. Now, all this talk about metabolic damages, bro, all these talks about all these things, metabolic damage is adaptation. Metabolic adaptation, downgrading of the metabolism through the fact that you have starved the ass out of it, right? And the body goes to a point, layman's terms, hey, if I keep metabolizing at this same speed, I'm going to kill myself. So I'm going to need to slow this thing down. And then all of a sudden you've got this trap. You got these girls eating 1,000 calories and they're not getting any leaner because their body is in fight or flight. It's in a position where it's downregulated, and then someone comes along and wants to call it metabolic damage. No, it's not. It's adaptation. And that word there, adaptation, if you understand it and apply it in the positive sense, that's how you progress. Adaptation. Lift more weight, lift it in a better possible way, right? And have the food support what you're doing. You're going to be bigger. That's how you get bigger, right? Because you're asking a new demand and you're asking your body to adapt to a new demand, right? So people want to understand adaptation in one sense, but they don't want to understand it on the other sense. And they want to give it this fancy word. And, oh my God, you got metabolic damage. You need to do this. Do you need to eat food again?
Yeah.
There's your answer, right? And you need to accept the fact that while you're eating food again, you're going to put some body fat on for a little while your body is upgrading again. And that's part of it. But in your life, when you've not tried, okay, I guarantee that your body weight has fluctuated over time through just life, through just periods of time where you've eaten a little bit more, periods of time where you've eaten a bit less. It fluctuates, man. You know what I mean? And it's one of those things that somewhere in between is where the real is. You know, you got the ebb and the flow, and then the median is in there, right? And that's where it's at. And even the way foods and stuff are nowadays, man. Like vegetables were seasonal. Back in the day, you know, when the stone fruits were out, mate, you'd fucking have a field day just eating them, right? Because you knew they weren't around. Now this shit is round year round, and people are not even concerned about that. How is it round year round? It's artificial, man. Yeah. Someone's grown it in an artificial sense. Yeah, you know. Yeah. I could go on forever about that sort of stuff, but I think you kind of see the angle with the way I look at it. You know, so that's the stupidity. I think of that sort of stuff is. Stupidity in a nutshell, believing that you can get somewhere without hard work, and also believing that if you haven't done something differently today than what you did yesterday to make tomorrow different. That's it, right? Yeah. Because if you've done nothing different today from yesterday, how can tomorrow be different?
Yeah, no, look, 100%. I remember, and to talk about yesterday or tomorrow, I remember once my ex-wife's grandmother once said to me, and this is when I was in my 30s, she said, if you want to have a prosperous 40s, it's what you do in your 30s. So whatever you and that can be financial, food, diet, like body, whatever you want to call it. Like it's, and I tell people this, like today, if you can't, which is understandable, you can't afford to jump on a plane and say go to Europe, that's because you didn't plan 6 months ago to go today. So whatever you have today, whatever me and you have today, we didn't realize it was 6 months to a year ago or whatever it was. So it is about planning the future, but putting down the work and the sacrifice and whatever it is to hopefully, and nothing's guaranteed because we will not make it, is to prosper later.
I'll give you something else to just think about, because I thought about this yesterday. And actually just yesterday I thought about this thing, right? Yeah. And if you don't have the pain and the grind, right, to get somewhere, I find myself personally, not everyone might be the same way, but I am. Yep. Okay. I don't have the emotional attachment to what I've done, right? Do you know what I mean? And it was interesting. I was trying to explain it to someone, and they were like, look, I'm going, I know what you mean. I'm going, well, do you know what? I hurt when I prepped. I hurt when I did this. I hurt when I did this. And at the end, it made it rewarding because I was emotionally attached to the whole thing. And they're like, looking at me going, I said, okay, then let me do this. And it just came to me yesterday, this one. And I said, it's like, because the guy is heavily tattooed. I said, it's like when you have a tattoo, right? I said, I've got a fair few, right? I said, in my whole life, I've numbed one tattoo before I had it done. One, right? Yeah. You try. Yeah. Now, because tattoos suck, man. They hurt. I don't care what anyone says. People say, they hurt, okay? Like straight up, I've been tattooed a million times. They hurt, right? Some hurt more than others. But the one that I numbed, I have no emotional attachment to whatsoever, right? Wow. Yeah. And I don't even really recognize that it's there half the time. I forget, right? So then I started going, well, hang on a second. You know why? Because I never felt it being put on there.
All right.
And I look at those, and then it was just an interesting, I'm not saying that's right, but like it was an interesting way of describing what I meant about the process of hurting while you train. These people, they don't want to hurt. They don't want to be hungry. They want to take Retta so they don't feel the hunger. They don't want to feel any of this shit. They don't want to feel the hurt. They just want to go in there, do a couple of pumps, jab this in here, take this tablet, do this, and do it. Man, like I was so hungry when I was doing shows that there were parts in those final weeks, man, where I couldn't work, man. Like, I mean, I was lucky I didn't need to work, at the time. But, I'd get up, do my morning cardio, have a shower, go back to bed. And then I'd get up, eat a meal, go train, have a meal, go back to bed. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And I was fucked, man. And I'd walk around, the balls of my feet were sore because I was that lean. I had no padding left on my feet. I used to wear socks on the floorboards, you know what I mean? And I was attached to the whole process because I'd earned it and I'd heard it. Like now, it's like people just don't. The moral of the story, when I numbed that tattoo, right, I couldn't feel anything. Yeah. And the moment they went out towards an area where it wasn't quite as numb and I could feel it, it was like, oh my God, that hurts. Yeah. But it didn't hurt. It didn't hurt within 1/10 of what a normal tattoo hurt. It just been, I'd been conditioned to this level of softness that all of a sudden I was fooled into thinking it hurt, Whereas if you go and do one, you've got them. You go and do one cold turkey, from the moment the needle hits your skin, it hurts, right?
Yeah, you always wonder, why did I come back?
Right. And then it grinds on you. And then you know what? You do an hour and a half, it's okay. No problem. Second hour and a half, it's not too bad. Third one, you're looking around going, right, this is old, like real old, right? Then you get into, if you do that 6-hour one, you get into that fourth quarter. And that whole fourth quarter, you're just looking around going, oh, fucking make it stop, right? Make it stop. And then you hear those dreaded words, bro. I just got to put some white in. There you go.
Yeah, or you go, how many times do you have to fucking go on top of that? Like, haven't we got it? We got it, man. We got the brief. Fuck, how many times you got to hit it? So tell me about Alpha Ethos.
Yes.
Isn't just about bodybuilding prep. The Alpha Ethos is an existence. It's a way of life. It means living everyday life in your ultimate body while having perfect balance. Tell us more about that.
Well, I mean, that was written in 2013. And I think that the principle behind it, I think this was the hard thing, is everyone went alpha and straight away, oh my God, he thinks he's an alpha male, blah, blah, blah. Because everyone now is like, everyone's alpha something, alpha this, alpha shirt, alpha dog, alpha physique, alpha this, whatever. Excuse me if I've said someone's name in there, it's completely random, right? But it's true, right? I can honestly say I never even thought about that. I've never thought of myself as the alpha male like that. It was like, the principle behind it was, the alpha existence was live your life in the best possible way that you can within yourself, like on a health level, right? So it was like the alpha lifestyle, not like being an alpha. It was like living the alpha lifestyle, the healthiest way you could. And it needed a second word because you couldn't call it just alpha, right? So I come up with all these words, and then my girlfriend at the time, we were writing all these things down and come up with all these words. And the one word that kept coming back up was ethos, right? And it kept working because obviously it's people are going to get upset with this. It's from a Greek word, right? And it is.
Well, so is alpha.
It is. It's ethos, right? There you go. Look at that, right there. It's written in Greek, right? And I went up to the old man. He was alive then, obviously. Bless him. And I said, listen, in your words, he looked at me and he goes, ethos. I'm going, yeah. I said, in your words, you tell me what that means. And he typical, looks at me and goes, it loses its meaning in translation, then just walks off. Yeah. And I was outside about probably maybe it wouldn't have been a week later, almost a week later, and I was having a cigarette, right? I used to smoke back then. And I didn't smoke in front of Dad, even though I was like in my 40s. You know, he's just low respect. You know, you'd walk around the corner, you know, you knew you'd smoke, but you did still have respect. And he looked at me and goes, listen.
I didn't know typical Greek boys were up in Brisbane as well. Go ahead.
Yeah, and then he just like, he goes, you're a grown man. He goes, just smoke in front of your dad. I said, no, I don't like it. It's uncomfortable.
Yeah, that's okay.
And yeah, I'm just standing there, then we're cooking a barbecue, and he just turns around to me out of nowhere, right? It wasn't even the conversation. And he goes to me, he goes, the standard that you set for yourself to live your life by. And I'm looking at him, I'm going, what the fuck, what? What's that? What do you mean? And he looks at me and goes, you asked me what ethos means.
Wow.
And I said, he goes, that's what it means in my words. I thought about it, I translated it, and I wrote them down. And he goes, and then that was it. The moment I heard it, I just looked at him and nodded. I said, that's it. And that was it. The standard that you set for yourself to live your life by. And that's good enough for me. So that's Alpha Ethos, the name. That's what it is.
And what is it? What is it as a business, or what is it as a print? What do you do with that? What is it?
Pretty much everything. I mean, it started off in the beginning. It is contest preparation predominantly. But I think that on a level moralistically, I felt like the things that I was doing and the things that I knew that I could help normal people through just teaching them that people were really starved of information, and there's still a lot of bad information out there. And I just felt like, you know what, you know, if you look at the way someone distributes their body fat, like the shape of their structure, I believe if you did a diagnostic on that person, I believe that within a very, very high degree of accuracy, I can tell you what their number one fundamental issue would be in their body, right? Through the way they distribute their body fat or their body weight. So I started looking at those sort of things, and I went, you know what? A lot of these people just aren't educated enough to understand that they need to learn how to eat. They need to learn what's the bullshit in the industry, what's the bullshit about food, what's not the bullshit about food, how to read panels correctly, things to avoid. And then I suppose then I started taking on clients that wanted to recomp, and I treat them like they were bodybuilders in that regard, but they never had aspirations to ever compete. So I did both, you know. I did really everything. So it is contest preparation. That's where its heart is. But I feel it would be remiss of me to not try to help people, because, man, you know, there are people out there that just shouldn't be giving any advice whatsoever, literally. And, you know, I have people all the time, my clients don't miss out on anything. They get to have the things that they still love and blah, blah, blah. Okay, well, that's just a load of rubbish, okay? Like, and the word balance too, Steve. I wrote something about this the other day in a post, and it cracked a lot of people up. Balance. Everyone loves that word balance.
Yeah, go on. I think I heard it. Go ahead.
Yeah, balance means good at nothing. It means average at everything. That's what it means. If you want to be good at something, there's no balance, bro. Like, that's the sad facts about it. If you want to be really, really good at something, exceptional at something, you're going to be absolutely just obsessed by it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's always time to have balance once you get to where you're going. But people don't understand what you said before about your analogy with the 30s to the 40s. The sacrifices you made in your 30s had made your 40s.
Yeah.
You know, the balance that people have, like when they're at my point now, they can walk around at probably, you know, 10% body fat or better year round. That's because of what I've done my whole life, is to be able to do that. But You can't be 15% body fat and have balance trying to get to 10%. You got to sacrifice, man.
Yeah. No,
You know?
no. There's no. Look, there's no balance, and I think, like, I forget what I read. I read somewhere someone say people believe they've lived like a fulfilling life, or, you know, I don't know, they've given it a true go. And not to say I'm trying to give life a go, and I could probably be the oldest miserable person in the end. Who knows? I don't know if it's going to fulfill. I'm not going to put guarantees that it's all about happiness, right? Some happiness.
Yeah.
But it's funny because like on the long weekend, like occasionally I go, like on the long weekend, I was going like, should I start the motorcycle? Like I got a few bikes.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. I go, should I start the Harley Davidson? I go, it looks a bit chilly out there. I go, and that's when I went, are you fucking serious?
Yeah,
like, and I had some anxiety too. I'm going, but there could be traffic. And I said, how about you go find out?
Yeah,
so I just put my leg over it, and I just go, and again, it was like a friend of mine goes, I was at his house. He goes, we're going to go for dinner. You want to come? And I'm going, it's getting late now. Might get a bit cold on the bike. Should go home. I went, all right, man, I'm coming. And I just, like, what I'm getting at is, and it was a beautiful balmy night. Like it was superb. And the funniest thing was, every time I kept riding it more over this weekend. Yeah. Because when you don't, like everything, like golf, if you don't ride enough, you always kind of like feel a little bit like you're back at the beginning. Like by the time I was going home, mate, I was leaning out the bends a bit better. Like I was, just because I spent the whole day on it. And then I realized I have every excuse to not ride it. Yeah. But one good enough excuse, and that is that I'll enjoy it. Right, and I can't stop what challenges it may bring, or you're too old to ride. What happens if you fall off? Some people say to me, because the way I ride, like not the way I ride, I don't ride radical. Like I'll go, where's your leathers? Sometimes I even wear thongs. I got my thongs on, right? I ride my thongs, right? They go, where's your leathers? Where's your thongs? What happens if you come off? And this is what I say to them. How about I don't come off? Yeah. Because I don't really want to come off. So how about I ride better not to come off? So meaning, yes, it's going to hurt. And I don't think not having leathers on isn't going to make it hurt less. So what I mean is I'm going to ride the way I feel, what I want to wear. And I'm going to go put all this gear on because I won't be riding in the end. But at the same time, how about I ride a bit smarter, a bit slower? Yeah, take it easy.
Yeah, I used to get it all the time, right? I used to because I've got a Ducati Monster.
Oh,
right? Yeah. And you know, at 1200, you know,
nice.
And yeah, beautiful, man. And I used to just love riding it to the coast. If I ever had to go to the coast, I prefer, because I mean, I didn't want to get stuck in 4 lanes of traffic, man. I'd rather be able to just go up the middle and all this sort of stuff, you know. Yeah. But I used to get it all the time. Like, so you're riding to the coast in a singlet and in shorts, and I'm just looking at them going, I've got a helmet on. And I didn't even like wearing gloves, man, because I just felt like the connection between me and the throttle and the grips just didn't feel the same, you know.
Same here.
Right. So it's just, but I used to do that all the time, you know. And I'm like, dude, I'm more worried about getting sunburnt driving to the coast than anything else.
I had one guy say to me, one of my bikes, my Harley, one of them, he goes, man, looks like it needs a wash. I said, mate, it looks like I should ride it more. I go, fuck. Because I go, if I start washing now at 8 o'clock in the morning, I'm not going to finish till 3 p.m. I'm telling you, I'm a perfectionist. I'm going to get fucking underneath it. I better just throw my leg over right now and get moving.
And take off,
Yeah, that's kind of, but before we go over a bit of rapid fire, go over the body, you spoke about, which I found quite interesting. Me and Chris actually spoke about this yesterday when we were writing it down. Yep. You on a post said, you spoke about writing down the movements you like doing and the ones you don't like doing, and how what's that?
I'm impressed.
Thanks, man. Look, we haven't been here for 3 years because we take pride in trying to be good, but you know. How forcing yourself to do the movements that you don't like will give you more improvement. Tell us why.
Well, because if the things that you don't like doing are probably most things, if you're programming for yourself, that you would be avoiding doing.
Yeah.
So once again, going back to what we said about adaptation before, if it's something that you're not used to doing and you force yourself to do it, force yourself to be good at it. And when that's right there. People don't like doing something they're not good at. So that's what creates it. It's not like, oh, you know what? If someone turns around and goes, I don't like squatting, because you're not good at it.
It's funny. I was thinking about squatting. Go ahead.
Right. And then all of a sudden, if they keep doing it, they become good at it. All of a sudden, oh, I like squatting now, right? So the moral of the story is that people in general, if you've got them to write a list of stuff down that they don't like doing, that'll be the stuff that they're avoiding. So if you program the stuff that they're not doing, they're going to have the most possible excuse me. They got the most chance of making change in progress, and that's as simple as that. Yeah.
I think as well, it's so easy with all the machines, but to grab a bench and move it to a cable machine and set up cable presses, and trying to then firstly get in that seat, and then just start getting in the process. Like, I mean, no one understands. Like, you can go and do just a chest press on a chest press machine, but if then you're going to go, fuck, I'm going to grab the bench, move it over. Like that's part of it all. The whole thing is,
it is, man.
You know, the like I said, I could just you could go through the whole gym on every machine and get the hell out of there. But it's kind of like knowing, like I know people like even squats. I just know. I know there's the hack squat. I get it. And I know there's a few other things, but that squatting, and you don't have to go super heavy, but the squatting process is like I said, if you want your legs to grow and you want, that's the place where you got to go. Like the free weight area and the barbell and dumbbell area is basically the holy what is it? Holy grail of bodybuilding. If you really want to put it together, and that's the stuff you can't be bothered setting up the weight. Like it just
once again, everyone wants everything now, and that's the reason. Like general machines have got their place.
Oh, they do have their place. Don't get me wrong. At the moment,
agreed too.
I do some squats on the hack squat machine because my back was playing up, and I thought, why don't I do that? You know what I mean? Yeah.
But when you're doing free weights, you not only got the majority of those things that you're doing with the free weights are more times than not are multiple joint movements.
They
right?
are.
So, so that's a different thing again, which obviously makes that a compound movement. But not only are you just lifting the weights in that range, you've also got stabilizers working the whole time while you're doing it, whereas the machine takes the stabilizers out. So that's why these free weights and that they do more. But you know what? I've always done both. I've always focused the first part of my sessions always with the bigger movements and with the free stuff. And then I've ventured down into machine stuff if I wanted to go that way. But I never, very rarely, unless I was doing like a pre-exhaust type of situation, would use a machine first before I got into something bigger. But no. Yeah.
I have tried the last few months, maybe this year mostly, and a little bit of last year, is only focusing on barbell dumbbells, right? Everything, even cables. Just because I wanted to see if, like striations and little tweaks on the shoulders. And I have seen the difference, but there's no denying, sometimes the process is a bit longer and sometimes you do need to incorporate both. But what I found is by doing what I do, it allows me to bring both in the machines as well. Sometimes, the body needs a little bit of stabilization. There's certain times that you're not going to push as hard as you want, or maybe you need to push harder, but you need some help. You know what I mean?
Yep.
All right. We're going to do a little bit of rapid fire, right?
Done.
4 questions. Delayed onset muscle soreness.
Yeah.
Does it tell us that the session was amazing?
Not always.
No? Okay.
No.
How do you build a proper bicep?
That's a great question. A proper bicep, through proper contraction, through feeling the movement, through understanding mechanically how the muscle works, and also finding out how it works for you. As I said, everyone's built differently. So what works for Steve won't work for Chris.
Yep. Can our body basically overcome anything and adapt to anything?
By and large, the vast majority of things, yes.
Okay. And how do you stay disciplined off season?
Just through desire, through pride. That's you know. I never had an issue with that sort of stuff. I think that training was always easy for me. Not easy, that's a wrong choice of word, but training was easy because I loved training, so it was never a problem getting there. Yeah. The off season, the way I did it was provide, like now it's different. I eat really good all the time, right? And not because I'm frightened, because I feel better. As soon as I eat something that's not good, I can feel it. I start regurgitating shit. I get stomach aches, all the weird stuff, right? Yeah. But off season, I never ate something that I wasn't supposed to eat before or over the top of something I should be eating. So if I was to overeat and if I was to break out a plan, it was always on top of what I've already eaten. Yeah. So I was never going to substitute a quality meal for the sake of eating a piece of cheesecake. I'd eat the meal and have the cheesecake.
Fucking oath. Yeah. Right. I'm with you. All right, let's go over the body, right? I'm going to give you a body part, just one body part. Yep. Just an exercise. If you want to say sets and reps, you can. If you don't, just tell us the exercise. But it's going to be very basic. Like I said, it's someone. So traps.
As in to develop them?
Oh, an exercise. Or you don't train them. Doesn't matter. Like, don't bother.
I think you don't directly have to train them. I think that if you train your back correctly in various angles, I think they'll develop. So I never train mine at big traps. So bench over barbell rows, upright rows, depending mechanically if your body can do them comfortably. They'll grow in those areas. Yep.
Let's talk about delts, rear delts.
Yeah, rear delts. Well, obviously, a rear delt fly. But I'm a big believer in programming some of the rear delt work on the back of a back session, because I think that
I do that too.
Yeah, look, people don't really look at that. I think that the amount of weight and intensity that you're exposing certain parts along the linkage when you're doing a big body part like back is valuable. So is doing a rear delt fly, which is valuable, don't get me wrong, but is doing a rear delt fly with 5 kilos dumbbells, is that valuable? Or is doing some neutral grip chin-ups with your whole body weight, what's gonna do more? You know what I mean? And I think that those sorts of things can be applied throughout the lot of training. And I'm not saying don't isolate, but if you did an underhand chin-up with a bicep emphasis, for example, and you're lifting 100 kilos of body weight, and then you're going to go and curl 15 kilos, they both work. But what's going to add the most strength and make you more dynamic is definitely a chin-up will.
Wow, interesting.
Here's my mentality with that sort of stuff. Yeah.
Oh, I love it. It's making me think. Side delts.
Once again, I mean, I'm a press person. I would but the pressing is going to hit the anterior a little bit more. Obviously, I'm a big barbell, military press, shoulder press, dumbbell person, but obviously I like side lateral raises with cables. I think that the cables change the strength curve enough. If you look at it, it creates tension through the movement in that bottom part of range right throughout. So in other words, the tension starts right at the bottom of the range.
Yep.
Whereas when you do dumbbells, you'll notice when you grab the dumbbells and you lift them, you never start getting tension until you get out to about 30 degrees, right? And it's like slack down the bottom. And a lot of people, when they do some mistake they make, when they do dumbbell side laterals, they'll start from the middle and they'll use that as a run-up. And then by the time they hit the tension part, they've already got momentum. Cable doesn't afford that. When you move, you got to start flexing immediately from the movement. You got tension the whole way. That's a lot of thing that people don't study is strength curve, how to alter the strength curve, and also the variations in strength curve in different movements and different machines.
I'm going to be focusing on my strength curve now.
Yeah.
Front delts.
Front delts, I would press.
Press, okay.
And they get enough exposure when you're doing chest as well.
Okay. What about
two parts?
What about back? An exercise for back.
Bent over barbell rows, the holy grail of back. I don't care. Or chin up. There you go. This is 2.
Okay. Chest.
I'm going to say incline, but I'm going to say dumbbell for the sole reason that not everyone can use a barbell comfortably, and I'm not certain that the barbell, the position it puts you in through the lack of ability to find a comfortable position, doesn't put you in an unsafe position for some people. So let's go dumbbells, but incline.
Yeah, I agree. I don't find the barbell as comfortable as dumbbells. Bicep.
Can I give you 2 on this?
Yeah, 2.
Absolutely standing barbell.
Yep.
Right. Nothing puts more blood into it, more strength into it than that. But something that I've been doing later, and I wish I did this from a really early age, was just like an EZ bar reverse curl. So doing them with the reverse position. Wow. Amazing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
the forearms don't get engaged at all.
Absolutely, they do. Yeah,
but helps.
Yeah, so it's attacking obviously the bicep, but it's also got a lot of brachialis focus as well.
Okay.
Yeah, very good strength movement good for the wrists, and also that strengthening of the forearms as well through that range of motion will also limit over time the amount of tendonitis that you'll get in the elbows as well because of the strengthening through the forearm.
Okay, very good. Tricep.
Close grip bench press.
Close grip bench press. Forearms, even though we talked about the forearms.
Chin ups.
Chin ups. Abs.
I'm not going to be one of those people that says that you don't need to train them because the core works everything. I like the hanging movement, the hanging hinging movement, but it's not only an ab movement, it's got a lot of hip flexor in it too. So it's kind of a hybrid. If you're going for a distinct abdominal movement, I don't think anything hits a spot probably as easily as like a kneeling cable crunch. I think that is pretty effective.
Okay. Quads.
I'm going to say squats, but nowadays with the how incredible the equipment is, I think that you could probably get almost as much very close with a good quality hack squat.
Yeah, no, you could. I mean, I know I said about the hack squat.
Yeah, no, it's true, but they're just the machine. Those sort of machines and that are so good now that it would be remiss, and you'd be just one of those old tools trying to go back in my day type of thing. But you've got to give credit where it's due.
No.
Someone like me with knee problems, man, I don't really squat, and I can hack squat, so it's hard for me to be biased against it.
Yeah. Hamstring.
I like doing a Harrop curl.
A what?
It's called a Harrop curl. It's kind of like a hybrid of Nordic, and it's sort of a version of almost a glute ham raise.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, look it up. HAROP. Anyone? Yeah, that one.
Glutes.
Yeah. Everyone's going to say hip thrusts, and I probably think that they will do that. The things that fry my glutes more than anything else when I do them is and I know this does multiple things too, probably people won't be surprised, but a rear foot elevated split squat will do my glutes better than anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Calves.
I think calves, it doesn't matter. I think the intensity and the rep range is more important. So I'm going to say standing probably works it more entirely. But I think that if I want to give someone a message, think about it. If you walk around on a body part all day long and it doesn't fatigue, think about how you're going to train it. That's all I want to say about that. Because, and also stop thinking about your calves as a 3 sets at the end of your session thing. If you want to grow calves, do them at the beginning and do them properly. Because I think that you look at most people who got calves, They're not getting to the end of the session when they're tired and doing 3 sets of 15 and walking out.
Yeah, no, I learned that from Jay Cutler. He said he did his calves at the beginning, and he also stayed he focused on the stretch a lot, on stretching them out. And it's true. And I see people, I do calves at the beginning and I have seen some growth, which is great.
Yeah.
But it's true. When you get to the end, you look at the door and you go calves door. Let's just do it quickly and get to that door.
Right.
So,
and that's if the door doesn't win.
Yeah. That's true. The door mostly wins, man. You're wrestling out.
Sorry, you keep going. If you got more from me, I want to add. Remind me to add something in there.
Go for it. Go.
Well, you just slightly touched on something I'm very big on with my programming. Okay, and everyone should be big, but they don't fucking do it. Like, I don't know why. You need to program with tempo. You need to list the tempos, right? You need to train with different tempos, right? You need to consider. And for people who don't understand what it is, it should be written as in a series of 4 numbers, right? It'll either be 2, 0, 1. It could be anything. 2, 0, 1, 0, 3, 0, 1, 0, 4, 0, 1, 0, or 3, 0, 1, 1, or it doesn't matter. Now, obviously, the first number stipulates the eccentric part of the range. The third number stipulates the concentric part of the range. And the others is the pause at the top and the bottom, right? So it dictates how you do that. So it would be remiss of anyone to, when they train, to not exhaust to the fullest capacity the eccentric part of the range. It's the part that you are the strongest on, right? And this is the thing people don't give enough thought about. Now, let's say, Steve, you could bench 140 Ks. Let's just throw numbers out there, right? Now, if you could bench 140 Ks for 1 rep, right? If I stood above you and pulled the 140 up, I bet you could do 10 or more of just the negative phase if I kept pulling it off you and just lowering it.
100%.
So you are stronger through the eccentric. So these people that just go like this and go,
yes,
like, you're completely disengaging the strongest part of the range. So I feel that, I know, but if you stipulate the tempo, it's an important thing because it's actually making that person concentrate on making sure that they execute and engage through. In that engagement comes indirectly through the fact that they're trying to take a certain amount of time to get down to the disadvantageous position of the movement. So
I'm still thinking now, so many changes I need to make.
Yeah.
Well, to act a little intelligent, the tibialis. What about training the tibialis?
Tibialis. Well, I think that, you know, I don't know about directly. I mean, you probably could, but I think that most calf movements would cover it to some capacity. And any sort of plantar flexion or extension movements will do that. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we've come to the end, Chris. Just quickly, you know, I give everyone an opportunity to promote myself. Where can they find you, mate?
Alpha Ethos, alpha-ethos.com. Social media, Chris Thomas Alpha Ethos, and the business page just Alpha Ethos. You know, it's simple as that. Just look out there, contact me if you want to ask some questions, or but just know that I'm going to tell you the truth, right? There's not enough people. This is the other thing, just to finish on this note, is there's too many people taking money off people with no integrity, right? I would sooner not take that money off a person and tell them what they need to hear rather than what they want to hear. And that's the big one. Yeah.
Yeah, I think taking money without integrity is a tough one. So, yeah, I think you hit it on the head. I think if you want to hear the truth, come and talk to Chris. Good on you, man. I really appreciate your time, mate. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Steve.
Hey guys, another podcast done with another wonderful guest. They're all greats, no matter who they are. So to continue what we're doing and to keep supporting you and bringing the very best, if you could subscribe, hit the notification bell, press like, it only helps us to grow this channel even further. So subscribe, hit the notification bell, like, and continue watching us here on YouTube or listening to us here on Spotify.